going live.
Yeah, they talking wild, but I'm still holding ground. Mud in my veins, let the trunk shake the town. Third coast born, truth spilling out of my soul. Bump this for the real, let the rhythm take hold. A Machiavelli production. What's Gucci, my ninjas? Tuesday night, Lil Chaz fucking lit. Spitting tales from history for your benefit. Tickling freaks, dolphin wank vibes. Hugh glass dragon ass to survive. Brahma balls rampant, slender dads admired. Mad chismos ignited, punk waddles inspired. Pause that shit, they riff on fleek. Old ass tales get a dope ass tweak. If you disagree, call us for free. Unless your name is Steve on the real, that dude's starting to scare me. Yo, imp, best check your six. Steve sneaking up quick, stealing your shtick. Pause that, tap that, rip that shit quick. They keep trying to mimic it, but you should stick with box juice in your streams, fake love and they feed. I'd rather stay slept on than bow to the greed. Tickling whispers echo in the night. Dolphins horny, slender savage cry. Machismo burns bright in the fire. Brahma bulls moves never tire. Punk waddles bars, pure insanity. Little Chaz voice spinning that tea. Pause and flex, the vibes are free. Oh, and for the girlfriend, here's your probationary inclusion.
That's right.
I don't think
Probation.
Probation. It's bullshit.
What's Gucci, my Olympians?
I think we should petition that into law for every girlfriend. Probationary inclusion.
I
The
think that
group
you
has
guys
not
should-
yet accepted you.
You guys should go on probation.
What? Okay.
For what? What is the crime?
That for being you.
I feel like
For-
you just
Yeah, but we're males.
Being
So,
you.
Don't matter.
That's a very womanly crime.
Just
I've
man
been
hate.
informed that I have privilege and can just be whoever I want, whenever I want, for whatever reason I want.
It's
So-
already happened.
Mm,
I was so excited to talk about the intro, but it's got to be about the woman.
She was at the tail end of the intro, probationary.
She comes into our space and then she's like, "You guys got to change the way you do things."
I mean, that sounds a lot like that's very Nancy Mace like. You got to watch out for that.
That's
You don't want to
exactly
be
what
her.
happened. Anyway,
didn't
if
write
you're
this
wondering
song.
if the intro was a prequel or sequel to the Send an Art intro, it is a sequel. Because if you notice in that one, he steals the money and then throws the bag, and this is how he spends the money.
whoa.
No, remember the lore is that's Slender's character too.
Yes, I know.
I didn't
I'm
spend
well
all
aware.
the money. I still have some.
I guess the question then becomes: was that Slender, Bride of Slender, that was on his lap at the end? Or...
She doesn't need to know what I do when I'm in the spacesuit.
Yeah, it's his money. He stole it from the government on his own.
We're gonna need to edit that out.
Yeah, we'll do it in post. All right, well, welcome to episode 10 of EPAP. Name pending. Oh, that's perfect. The name
What?
could be undecided. Or
That's
to
as
be
creative
declared.
as Mad's new channel.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It would be a whole, theme. It'd be TBD.
How about
Hey, Black Sun.
TBP, to be pending?
Well,
I hate it.
welcome to EPAP episode 10.
Oh, I'm on.
Are you on
We-
probation too?
I might be now.
He just entered probation.
Man, Imp's moving up that chart quick. Welcome to EPAP TBD. We are the Braille. We are the YouTube equivalent to Braille because people feel us
Us.
when we speak. Imp, you're back at the bottom.
Move him. He's not at the bottom.
I didn't
yeah.
even remember that you guys did that on here, but I just happened
There
to
we go.
know that thing.
It's pretty easy to catch up on. We do it for so long. You can hop in the middle of it and still be counted.
I want it to be noted that I was one of the first ones doing it.
Hey, Courtney. How do I know what channel it's on? If that they're on?
You open up both chats and check.
I won't do that. Anyway, if you're on the
She's
old
on
channel,
the old.
just
She's on the old channel.
oh yep. If you look, there is a link for the new channel. How do I pin? I can't pin that from here. I would have to. Whatever.
No,
Anyway,
you've
it's
gotta
there.
be.
You see it.
How many channels do you have?
You know how many?
I mean,
17.
it seems like there's a different one every week. If I'm not
If you're
accessible.
interested in joining, it sounds like we're gonna have 2 spots opening up.
Wait, what?
No, not you.
Oh,
There was genuine fear in Punk Waddle's voice there.
And that should tell the audience how awesome this show is that he does not want to leave. I think he just knew. I've never used it before on anything else.
There, Courtney's at the right place.
I will be happy when you ring that bell.
Courtney.
Sorry. Anyway, all right. So tonight we're going to be talking about the 1904 Olympics. Any Olympians here with us tonight?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, that's 2.
No.
Yep. There you go.
I'll be honest and say only-
Olympics merch, if that counts. But no.
Are any of you fans of the Olympics, by the way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
used to be.
I'm a fan of
Used to be.
ladies curling.
Every time I hear
Just
curling, I think of like barbells and people like
I know,
working
but
out.
this is the part where Brahma makes a joke about girls sweeping, and it's very.
No, I'm just a
Not
fan
fun.
of looking at the women's curling teams because they're usually very, very good looking.
If
No,
it wasn't
oh
for
my
the-
god, no, they're not. What is
if it
wrong with
wasn't for the
yeah, they
these
are.
Olympics, curling
Nobody's
would be
judging
the
you, Mom.
dumbest event in the Olympics. But this one has to be by a couple.
Wait, are we
I
talking
don't know.
about
Skeleton
winter?
might be one of the dumbest
summer?
events in the Olympics.
I think breakdancing was by far the worst.
Oh, I forgot about that. How
Ray
did
gun.
that get in?
Jim Sullivan from his
Hey.
grave suggested Ray Gun as the world champion.
I want them to add pole dancing.
Wait, you went to the night as a like participant or as someone watching?
Was there?
That
Was-
didn't help
yeah.
me.
Pretty sure.
I
it
don't
was,
think as a
uh,
participant.
Okay, thank you. I was a participant, or was she there to watch? She was there. Oh,
she existed.
anyway,
She was present.
I'm not an Olympic. I'm a fan of America beating everybody in every gold medal ever.
Mhm.
I'm not
You
a
know-
fan of actually having to watch.
As an aquatic being myself, Penguin, I was at least for a moment proud of Michael Phelps.
For what, being born? He was deformed in.
A genetic freak.
Yeah,
The fact
No
that he
shit.
swam so well and represented our country.
he had he had an unfair advantage over the other ones because they weren't born as freaks. You know what I mean?
I don't
He
know.
really
I believe-
is kind of an anomaly.
Under Mad's logic, I believe all of Australia should be disqualified too, because they've had 300 years of natural selection where if they can't swim fast, they die. So
Oh, I figured you were saying that because it was like Australians aren't really people.
well,
I'll
no,
say this about Australians. I don't agree that, but I do agree that they have evolved, but it's evolved to the point to where they do need to be followed when they're in a store because it was a penal colony, and you can't trust them.
100% if they have any Finian legacy in their ancestry, they should not be trusted.
Well,
Yeah.
they pre-light their
Oscar
fireworks.
Pistorius.
What was that, Punk?
They pre-light their fireworks.
Wait, they pre-light
Story-
them?
Pistorius was from
set their
South
fireworks
Africa.
off too soon. I was trying to go for 2 jokes, and none of them worked. I'm back on the bottom.
Okay, quantity over quality. I get it. Fit them all in.
I mean, At least you're trying. I still
I do
haven't figured
appreciate
out
that.
if Imp is alive right now.
Oh, I'm
He-
alive. Don't you worry.
oh, now you
Sure
want to
is.
speak?
Way to go, Imp.
Don't encourage
Trust me,
this.
Slender. If I was dead, I'd be haunting you.
You didn't even mention that you were moved into the main part of the song.
The main part of the song.
Yeah,
He was in the middle. He wasn't
Yeah,
at the
you were-
end.
yeah. You were no longer an afterthought.
I was the afterthought this time.
No fucking
Probationary.
gratitude whatsoever either. Like, put him back at the end of the song, man.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. Well, no, that's supposed to be the main one. All right, whatever. We're getting sidetracked. We're 10 minutes in, haven't talked about shit. Olympics. Fine.
Talk
go.
about the Olympics.
Was there
Yeah,
not a
but
mailbag this week?
I just remembered when I heard it in the song. I'm checking right now. Oh man, there's so many, but I have to what the fuck was that?
There aren't
Anyways.
any, are there?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch, but I have to screen them first before I let them on air. That's like Radio 101.
Oh, you screening them now? I'm never.
Yep, that's what's happening. Anyways,
All right, Gwen Stefani.
that's why I
Gwen Stefani. What?
don't have anything to
No.
play.
No,
but we
sir.
will next week.
I screen my phone calls.
Mhm.
Welcome to the spiderwebs.
Oh yeah,
We got it. We got it.
I screen mine, but I also never set up my voicemail. So
You didn't do that joke thing that was really popular in the mid O's where you would do the I'm gonna fake people into thinking I answered the phone.
oh yeah, that's a
What?
trope that doesn't need to die.
Yeah,
It's Lady
What the
Mads.
fuck are
That's
you
funny.
talking about?
Wait,
Were you too young for that or
Hold-
something?
I don't
so
know.
you've been around for a while. The majority of our viewers, for whatever reason, are females on this channel.
Still can't wrap my head around that.
It's called negging,
Don't
man.
even bother, Slender. It'll give you an aneurysm.
It's called negging. It worked in dating. It works on YouTube.
Is that what happened?
Huh? We can move on. We don't need to talk about what was.
We have no interest
Is
in
that
you,
what happened
ladies.
here?
That makes us want to watch.
It
the
sounds
ball.
like
You need to be unburdened by what has been. You don't worry about that stuff.
Hey, I was trying to jump on that
Relatively
too.
harmless. What?
So,
Are
Chad, you ready?
Yes, tonight's tale is the 1904
Oh,
Olympics.
you're the reader.
See, she says I watch.
We started off with tonight's tale, and I swear to God, I just saw a match light up like you were doing a fucking scary stories or something.
Yeah, I saw the guy.
What about
from
Are You
the
Afraid of the
Crypt
Dark?
Keeper. The Crypt
Yeah,
Thank
Keeper.
you
little
for
Chad.
that.
Little Chad turns on the flashlight and puts it under his chin.
The tale of the Olympics. Woo!
By the way, apparently he's taken full liberty with the story I give him. I did not have Our Tale Begins.
I like
I
it.
mean,
Keep it.
In the
I
year
tried-
of our Lord,
I'm trying to make it-
1904.
I'm trying to give you spots to be able to riff and go off on things. I'm not a trained improv person, but I can help.
So you inserted like cues for us? And
When
the
I
first
clean-
one was Our Tale Begins. I mean, it worked. We've been riffing on it for like 3 minutes, but
I knew that was going to get response. Yes. I do also, when I split up the script, I do put in breaks where I think there will be natural conversation or rips on.
He puts applause breaks in.
Not applause
Just for conversation.
there's no applause for this show. It's just going to be ripping other people's historical. I don't know what would be the right word for James Sullivan. Craziness,
or visionary.
I'm
And-
giving
or the
you guys
Finians,
an
they're
opportunity to
terrible.
riff. And I can't help but notice that you're doing the equivalent of I meant to do that.
No,
I'm giving you an opportunity to riff. I said that really weird, stupid thing so that you guys would have something to make fun of.
Look, I told you guys that I'd dress up in lingerie so that you could make jokes.
So that was you at the end of the music video.
What? I don't hate.
It was mad at the end of the
Why do
music
I feel like I'm just having deja vu right now?
Hold on. Soul Assassin, the Mad Knight Society. Are you afraid of the Mads?
Should be.
Okay.
Okay, we haven't even got to the date yet.
All right. So New York City, November 18th, 1862. James E. Sullivan was born, the son of Irish immigrants.
Oh boy.
They're
We-
troublemakers.
We got to get
We-
from 1862 to 1904.
We
It's
do,
pretty
we do it pretty fast on this
Yeah.
one.
He's old.
He didn't have a Finian phase this time.
Okay, good.
Although
We don't
I
have
was
to invade
worried-
Canada before
I'm gonna
we
be
get the
honest.
story.
When I saw the dates and the Irish descent, I was worried there was going to be a tangent for
The first Finian Olympics.
because didn't we have a blurb where James Sullivan boxed the Finian dude from a couple stories back?
Yeah. Yeah, it was the poet. What was his name?
I already
O'Leary?
forgot. Yeah, O'Leary.
Oh, the Dead
No,
Poets
O'Reilly.
Society?
It's
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
That was last week.
Oh, I remember that.
No, O'Reilly was like 2 weeks ago.
No,
Yeah, that was
O'Reilly
like 2
was
weeks
2
ago.
It was
stories
2
ago.
weeks ago because I was.
Last week was the Prince visiting
That's
from
right.
England.
Yeah, Prince
And
Albert.
if you want to see all those episodes, they're available on Matapap. Nope. That's the name of the show. It's on my new channel, Matt's new channel.
We're gonna have to start doing a recap at the beginning of each episode. Last time on Matapap.
Well, only if they're
Previously.
connected.
What is it gonna be like 24 previously on Matt?
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Can
the
you-
mailbag is for, right? To remind
Yes.
us of all the
Can you
things.
do
that
like
we-
the last 5?
Like right now.
Yeah.
Matt, I had it on good authority that
mean-
Shredda had watched these.
Yeah, so did I.
Irish people did crazy shit. There's your recap.
And then got drunk.
So-
And
We lost a piece of America to Canada.
The Queen almost lost a kid.
An Irish guy attempted to assassinate somebody, and then
With a bomb?
No, with
he
the
said
gun.
he was
No,
smart.
that
Their
was the
guns and their
Australians.
bombs. Are you about to do zombie over here?
Oh yeah, he said I'm sorry, I'm just really rambunctious. So I
Yes,
shot the
that-
prince.
That was an excuse. I get excited sometimes. My bad. All right. So 18
So basically normal shit, right?
Yeah, for them, yes. 1863, did you say?
practice?
So 1864. 62.
He is born to
62.
Irish people.
Yeah, they were working class. Just
Safe to assume he's Irish
salt
as
of the
well.
earth. I don't unless he
usually
was
how genetics
I
work.
mean,
yeah.
I think the husband might have some questions if he wasn't.
Oh, he
Well,
looks
they were
Italian.
Irish immigrants, so now he's American.
You came out looking like an eye tie. What's your mother been doing?
By the way, Brahman, never say that if you're in Southie. Well, technically, you're not Irish. You're American.
Look, my cousins live in Southie, man. In between getting drunk,
They let
and
Italians
doing-
in there?
And I got Irish cousins in Southie.
okay.
My family is a.
You have
Boston.
Irish
Got it.
cousins?
Yes.
Wait, which
I
one?
actually
Are they
found out.
Finians?
No, but I'm actually probably a couple cousins removed from the redheaded libertarian since we're both from Massachusetts, and
Oh.
have family background going back a couple generations. Anyway,
So you're part Irish. That's
I am on my mother's side. Yep.
Oh, so that doesn't count. That only counts if you're Jewish. We can keep going.
Yeah. Grandparent was a first generation Sicilian, married an Irish girl. It was a very scandalous thing. It was anyway. So yeah. So he was working class. Went to public schools. And at 16, he started working at Frank Leslie's Publications. 2
Nice.
years later,
That's
he
neat.
decided. 2
Man,
years later,
he was fucking old by comparison to most people that time
Well,
of the year.
Oh, yeah,
So that
16.
was
That's
rough.
Yeah,
thank you,
O'Reilly
Slender.
had to start at 11.
but
Yeah,
here,
right?
this is where, but he beats
By
O'Reilly.
12, they were like, "Why didn't you moved out of the fucking house yet?"
When are you going to settle down, get married, have some kids?
Well, this is where he beats O'Reilly because 2 years later, he decided to start his own newspaper. He said, "F working for people. I'm starting my own, the Athletic News."
Ah, the Athletic News. The-
So, where he focused,
the legendary news.
yeah, he focused on publishing sports publishing, and then decided to expand into selling sporting goods from there. Now, an athlete.
Oshman?
What?
Is that
He
like
was-
a regional joke?
Oshman's used to be a sports star. Sure.
I do remember that name.
No, he worked with Dick's, and then
Oh, no, that's fair.
all right. So he was also an athlete himself. Starting as a runner at age 15, he became a member of the Pastime Athletic Club.
Why did he wait until 15 before he ever started running? I feel.
Maybe it just wasn't a sport that they did.
Do you think he was like, hey guys, you know what? If I move my legs quicker, I can go to places faster.
You think it was like a Forrest Gump thing where he had his legs in braces and they
Oh,
just
it-
broke that when he was 15?
In my head canon, it is now.
Run, James, run.
What- Oh, yeah. I was like, what is his name?
You forgot you knew.
I was trying to think of it too.
Is it
All right.
James O'Keefe? Nope.
Sullivan?
Sullivan.
Got it.
Like
James
James Sully Sullivan. He's basically the same name as Monsters Inc. By the way, that's
Why'd you have to throw in a third name? We're struggling with two.
all right. Anyway, so we're jumping ahead. So Slender, we're already into 1888 now. This is moving
Nice.
apace.
Nice.
He's by 1888 he helped establish the Amateur Athletic Union, the AAU, which was created to establish common standards for amateur sports.
Amateur Athletic Union.
Hey,
This is starting to sound like it's going along the same track as the competitive tickling.
No. This is all legit.
please.
No,
in a way.
you're too
Please let it go
old.
that way.
You're too hairy. We need young, athletic men.
Preferably
only
Asian.
men.
I was so sad not to be here for that one. So,
It didn't go all that well.
How do you even know? How do you even know
what's wrong with you guys?
Tickle
Here's the
fights
thing.
never end well.
No,
It
there's
didn't
no
go all
you
that
guys
well
in
for
that one.
us. For Matt, it went great because I think it's his highest viewership.
Yeah, actually it is. Yeah, it went
'Cause
really
it's-
well.
'cause
Yeah, we
it's
almost turned into
awesome.
a tickling channel.
Ooh. There we go.
Apparently, he hit that bear algorithm and never looked back for that one.
You're gonna
They're
do
talking about my
like
twinks.
You're gonna do like tickling sounds.
What does that sound like? Tickle, tickle, tickle?
I don't know. If only you
Somebody
had a
laughing.
sound file that you could use, that would be
I
appropriate for
think
this
I
kind
heard
of
some
thing.
tickling sounds in that sound file you shared with us.
Some
earlier.
I'm not gonna play it on air.
ASMR.
Tickle,
ASMR
tickle,
sounds.
tickle.
That's
Oh, we're doing ASMR.
Tickle con.
You ticklish. I'm gonna tickle
you.
Do you guys say tickle before you tickle?
As you're tickling too.
You have
You
Yeah,
must
wait,
announce
wait,
the
wait.
tickle.
Yeah.
Just as a puppet,
Oh,
Tickle Me
no.
Elmo is false advertising. It's not cool, man.
I saw this clip where so how old are you? And he's like, I'm 8.
Elmo's
How long have you been 8? 35 years.
3.
Oh, 3. That's right. 3. He's been 3 for 35 years. All right, what's James doing? He gets started a union. This commie.
The Amateur Athletic Union, which was created to create common standards for amateur sports. So Sullivan,
Stay at the AAU.
You're right, Tom.
Yeah.
So,
You
is
guys-
this like
I mean-
intramural league type stuff.
I mean, I'm surprised people haven't heard. AAU is still around.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
So this is the man. So yeah, he's a legend.
he helped start it, and within after helping start it, he decided to wrest control from the other athletic unions in the country. He wanted to be the
Vince McMahon of athletic.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, there's no
you
room.
say it's still around, and the only thing that comes into my head is how many of my tax dollars has it wasted?
I mean, AAU basketball is
that little dribblers?
That used to be that was the one where all the because how do I put this one? That was the one where there was a lot of money getting changed hands for like middle schoolers and high schoolers to get recruited by colleges before the
Thank God they
before
don't
the
do that
NIL.
anymore.
Now the NIL, they just give them money. It's fine. Anyway, so
That is true, I am
Sullivan was blunt, avoided compromise, and preferred honest directness no matter who got hurt. And
Cool guy.
And with the goal of wresting control of amateur athletics from any other organization, he kept charging through. And his big break came in 1892 when he was asked to run the American Sports Publishing Company. He used his power in that position to push the AAU and his agenda, and under his control, the AAU took over and soon was the one in control of most U.S. national championships.
And then what is it? And then the monopoly. What is it?
Yep.
The monopoly laws or whatever, like where you can't be the only one.
Sports always gets an exemption for
You
that.
talking about antitrust?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can't be the only union available for athletes, amateur or not.
Well, I think if it's the most
Seems like he
popular
could.
one, he just did it.
Well, yeah, at that time, yeah, he's just drinking other people's athletic
Milkshakes.
milkshakes. Yeah. getting that
James
getting that
Sullivan is
creatine.
taking his straw and reaching all the way over to the NCAA.
Are those the heroes of our story? The
No.
NCAA?
No, they are not involved at all in this. They luckily set this one out.
You know
So
what?
it's-
I was meaning to email him about it. Not email, sorry, message him.
So now, while all this is going on, in 1904, the city of St. Louis was planning to host an event called the Louisiana Purchase Centennial Exhibition.
Nice.
It was
That's fancy.
it was delayed to allow for larger participation of more states and foreign countries, with exhibitions from 62 foreign countries and 43 states, effectively turning it into a new World's Fair.
It's a year off though, isn't it?
Yeah, so they ended up renaming it too because of that to the Louisiana Purchase Centennial +1.
+1? No, wait, no.
They did.
So that means everybody gets to bring a date, right?
Now, while this is going on, the International Olympic Committee was also considering different U.S. cities to hold the 1904 Olympics, with their main choices being between New York and Philadelphia.
Ugh.
But they ended up awarding the games to Chicago.
Chicago.
This was going to be
Oh, wait, what year is this?
1904.
1904.
Oh, this is H.H. Holmes' year. This is the guy who built. This is the year I think he built the madhouse in the creepy thing
In Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago. Yes. Or is it? It's Olympics or World Fair. It's right around this time.
Well, we're about to leave Chicago.
Okay, but this is something. No, I'll put a feather in my hat for later to remind you of this. You might have fun with this story. Moving
Or
on.
you could actually put it together for us. It could be a punk waddle night.
We'll talk.
Or pass the idea on to me so I can do the work, and that's fine.
Have your people come. My people, we'll do
All right.
lunch.
Okay, well,
All right. So what did we lose somebody? Or
what? No, just
all right, we just moved people around. Okay.
yep.
Back at the bottom.
Dang it.
Yeah, so the Olympic Games were awarded Chicago. So this was the third modern Olympiad. That means the modern Olympic Games. So after they got awarded to Chicago, the city of St. Louis was not pleased.
Who gives a shit? What St.
Because
Louis
the
thinks?
Olympics were going to be taking place at the same time as the Louisiana Purchase Centennial +1.
you can't
Is
do
that
your
really what
Olympics
they
at the
called it?
same time as our fair.
You can't do that. You can't do 5-minute abs. You can't. That's fine. So St. Louis decided that they would hold their own sports competition in direct competition with the Olympics, and they reached out to Sullivan,
Man,
and
life
Sullivan
was so
agreed.
much more interesting back then.
So Sullivan agreed to stage the AAU track and field championships at this World's Fair. Having a larger competing athletic event happening at the same time as the Olympics could spell ruin, because remember, this is only the third one, so they weren't
Right.
super well established.
Yeah.
man.
So that's why Olympics founder Pierre de
Condamon,
Coubertin he gave in and switched the venue of the Olympics to St. Louis.
Nice.
Pierre thought the Olympiad would match the mediocrity of the town of St. Louis. So once the decision to
fired.
switch was made, he bowed out and had nothing further to do with it.
That's always encouraging. Like, okay, we're starting the modern Olympics. This has never been done before. Man, fuck them. Fuck their city. Have it. Do whatever you want. That's insane. Why would you do that?
I don't know. So all communication between St. Louis and Coubertin stopped. He loathed Sullivan and St. Louis, so they were on their own and to do whatever they wanted to do. So there was
That's when breakdancing got in.
So there was no Olympic charter for them to follow, and the World's Fair was much longer than the Olympic Games. So instead of 2 weeks, the Olympic Games were incorporated into the fair, which meant events would take place over 7 months from April to November.
Imagine you're in Scotland. No, they don't have their own Olympic people. You're in France. Fuck those guys, anyways. But
Scotland
you're like,
does have their own Olympic people.
oh yeah, of course they
Scotland,
do.
Wales,
They're independent.
Ireland,
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scotland, they're like, oh, I'll see you later, lads. I got to go to the Olympics for a year.
Wait, can we do that Olympic accent again for
Oh,
Scotland?
the Olympic accent? Okay.
Yeah.
The Olympic accent. Okay.
I'm Olympian.
Yeah, 'cause it was highly international.
I think if the Olympics are that long, you just call them sports at that point, right?
The point is that people are having to leave their families for a year to go compete in St. Louis.
Nobody wants to be in St. Louis.
No.
Which we were reasonably informed by Pierre de Coubertin was a town of mediocrity. So
There's a reason that state is called misery. Okay.
Update, it still is.
Yep.
I think Matt had an interesting story that took place in
East St. Louis.
Missouri.
I do. I will. I'll tell that sometime.
We have the archway to the west
What's
there.
your
I
story,
mean,
Matt?
they could just
You
compete
know
under
the
the
story.
archway.
What's
Also,
wrong
there's
with
a
it?
little Italy hill has some.
Are you
tasty
from
Italian.
St. Louis?
No, I've traveled all over this country.
Well, you keep saying we, like you identify with the people of St. Louis.
I assume when you say
Oh.
you've traveled all over this country, you meant Antarctica.
I feel like he was a Rams fan in the early 2000s, so he was like,
Oh, yeah, greatest show on
great
turf.
show on turf.
Yeah, I've stayed in St. Louis a couple times, just traveling up north to Illinois and
Yeah, it's
such.
not cool. Not where I was. I was on the east. I was in East St. Louis.
You should have stayed in Little Italy. It was
Didn't have a
nice
choice.
to
I
know.
was with a cult. We were going up to Chicago for something. Doesn't matter. I'll tell that story a different time. We can move on.
I
My
can't wait.
sister was in
Blue.
my sister was an ER nurse in St. Louis, East St. Louis.
You were in a
No,
cult?
East St. Louis.
It was cultish. You know this.
I mean, yeah, you probably told me before, but I forgot it already.
Did you
He's
join
told
a
all of us
cult
at least
in
20
It was
St.
times.
Louis?
No. We were going from
That was the-
Oklahoma
That
to
was
Chicago.
the multi-level marketing story.
Yeah, but it was very cultish. Like we lived in our apartments. We had to do chants in the morning. Blah blah blah.
And the dude that Matt was with was
They called them
basically
affirmations.
Wayne Brady from the Chappelle Show sketch.
Yeah. All right, fuck it. I'll tell the
What?
story. So we're rolling around in East St. Louis, right? And we're hitting off pretty good. This is like 2003, 2002, right? So I'm playing that third coast shit because music doesn't, it's far more regional back then, right? Especially the good stuff. So I'm playing third
I mean,
coast
you
shit.
still play that though.
Yes, because it's
It's cool.
Anyway,
it's cool.
it's very cool. DJ Screw, R.I.P. But yeah, he's playing his St. Louis. So we're heading off, dude. And then he gets a phone call.
DJ
And he goes,
Screw from Screwed Up Clip.
yeah, from the Screwed Up Clip. There you go.
All right.
SUC, baby. Anyway, all I hear him go is, what? What the fuck they say? What the fuck they say about Big Mama? Fuck that. I'm on my way. Hey, man, we got to make a stop. I'm like, okay. So he
Wait.
gives me directions. And we roll up into this neighborhood that I swear to Christ
He was
looked
talking
like
shit about his mama.
no, somebody was about Big Mama.
Okay, not his mama.
No, she was like the grandmother, aunt, or whatever, the
yeah.
the
So
matriarch
she
of
runs
these
all
people.
the shit.
Right.
A
So
matter familius instead of a paterfamilias.
What?
what?
Don't bring that Latin shit to this show.
So we're rolling into
You
this
think
neighborhood.
this is some kind of highbrow entertainment punk?
Yeah, leave that pig Latin at the house. So we're rolling up into this neighborhood that looked like training day. Doves and pigeons and everything were being released when we came in. So
Wait,
we
what?
yeah, so we go into this house or whatever, and where there should be a dining room table is a pool table with guns laid out. And
That's
as
cool.
everybody's talking,
Convenient.
yeah, as everybody's talking, they're grabbing a gun and they're shooting it out the back door.
Well,
Because
yeah,
this is
you
a
gotta press the
kind of
merch.
neighborhood cops aren't coming for gunshots unless there's a body attached to it, right?
Well, yeah, smart.
So I'm sitting there and they're talking about, apparently, this is where I heard it, that there was some other group of young gentlemen who may have said some derogative things about someone's aunt, grandmother, whoever, and that they need to have a discussion and come to a
Yeah.
reasonable conclusion,
Yeah,
right?
Death.
With guns.
Anyway,
Got it. We got
so
it. All right.
using my whitest voice possible, I'm like, well, gentlemen, it's been very nice meeting all of you. Send my best to Big Mama and Tyrone. I'll see you in the morning. And then I fucking left.
Wait.
I
So
remember that part. That's the part
when
I
you
remember.
use your whitest voice
Yeah,
possible,
yeah.
you sound like Steven?
What? No, I didn't have a lisp.
Mm.
Have you guys seen what's that?
Okay.
What's the
By the way,
movie?
did not see Tyrone the next morning. I don't know what happened, but he did not show up.
Have you
for it.
seen him ever again since that day?
Well, he got cloned.
Oh,
That's a great movie.
Ha-
Doesn't
have,
sound clean.
have you seen the for
No,
your
yummy.
consideration about telemarketing?
Do what?
Wait, what?
A movie about telemarketing, but it has a
Oh, the one where they're horse people or some shit.
yeah, that's the part I didn't want to say out loud. But the point, use your white voice, and the guy's like,
I forgot what it's called too, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
okay, yeah.
I never saw it. I just saw the horse
like-
people part.
Thank you for calling. Would you like a? Mm-hmm.
Wait, so
Yeah, so it was a dub. It was funny.
so where's the cult come in?
Oh, well, that's who they weren't cultists, but it was structured a lot like a cult. Anyway,
I mean, it kind of sounds like you're talking about a gang.
no, it was
Were
St.
you
Louis.
rolled
So
in? Were you rolled in, motherfucker?
The gang was going to war with the cult.
no, you guys twist my stories. Can we get back to Sullivan?
I'm not
What's he
twisting
doing?
it. I'm punching it up.
I want to go to
What?
Sullivan Street.
Who would win?
What between
Cult
our
versus
cult,
gang?
the gang?
I mean,
Is
you would
this
think
like a
because of guns, but what if they use
story-style
some
fight?
weird?
I don't
like,
know, dude. Cultists
What
ain't
if they
afraid
use
to die.
magic?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Or
I mean, what are they gonna do?
potions.
Like, by the
They're
power
like, hey,
of
come here, drink the Kool-Aid.
by the power of John Smith, I defeat you, and then they get shot because that's not magic.
Technically, the gang just has to wait till the cult kills itself.
True.
Yeah, but if you strike a
There's a
cultist down,
half-life.
they become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
It's true.
Yeah, I
Only
am
if
all
Haley's
the
Comet is going by at the time.
I am all the L. Ron Hubbards.
Is that why they say about that? You saw Haley's coming.
Actually, with the cult, it was Hail Bop.
Hail
Oh,
Bob.
Yeah, the
Hail,
Haley.
bop, bop,
That's what
bop,
happened in
bop.
you beat me to
Maximum
it.
Overdrive.
Wasn't it Morgan Applewhite or some weird name like that was the cult leader? Something like that.
Yeah, they did some documentary.
I think their website is still up.
Oi, prick.
Can we get an
All right.
update on that 6-month Olympic fair
Yeah.
going on?
So, like Mad said, because of the length of the Olympics, most nations decided
Heyo.
not to go to the 1904 Olympic Games.
Well done.
So the official start date for
Winners.
the fair/Olympics was April 30th, 1904.
By the way,
But
I
the
like our
open-
odds.
But the opening ceremony for the official opening ceremony for the Olympic Games was held 4.5 months later.
Jeez.
Like right in the middle, huh?
Yeah, and they had to sit through many speeches from politicians before they actually started anything. But when they did, track and field contests immediately commenced, and spectators watched the event in a packed stadium. But what they didn't
These
realize,
Olympians.
is that they were actually just watching the Missouri High School Track and Field Championships.
Everyone was just sitting there, like, don't they look a little chubby, like young, to be representing our country?
You imagine putting that on your college application. I was an Olympian.
Well, by Olympian, I mean I performed in front of an audience that didn't know they weren't watching the Olympics.
Thought I was an Olympian.
There was
Hey.
still technically 3 months until the opening ceremony, so I can't call myself an Olympian.
I was
Imagine-
not.
participated.
I'm not an Olympian.
Look,
Imagine the coach having to be like, "All right, guys, listen. These people think this is legitimate.
No pressure.
Please,
And-
do not embarrass us."
you could put on your resume, have performed in front of a live Olympian audience.
Olympic crowd.
Yeah. They clapped and cheered, you know.
I mean, they may not have been
Performed
able
for
to tell the
spectators
difference. We used to have
during the
standards.
Participated in Olympic events.
Hey, from how 50 feet can you? Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna say that.
Why are they handing the winners ribbons? That one's a full ribbon. I thought they had medals.
Wait,
It's like,
was this a baton run? How come I see?
why is that girl hitting the other one with the baton? No.
Different story. We'll get to that one day.
And why is there a smoke alarm going off?
Wait, that's a
No.
different kind of baton. Okay.
Now it is worth saying that this the Louisiana Purchase Centennial +1 was the largest position that had ever been held to date, covering 1,272 acres. And that's because
Whoa.
St. Louis
That
is
feels
such a
like a lot.
mediocre town that they didn't have much going on, so they could give them that much land.
Yeah, we got the space. We're not doing anything with it. Kinda
The
like
fair
everything
con-
else.
Yeah. If you have
So-
some ideas, just like, put a marker where you think we should add something.
So how much ground did they actually give to them percentage-wise of the city?
I mean, I would imagine that 1,200 acres would be a pretty big chunk of a city.
My question or is sidebar is, would that set a precedent for the upcoming new revamp of the Olympics to create such a big megaplex that we have today and sort of an evolution?
All right, so St. Louis is 39,276 acres.
Okay.
So they gave them 3% of the city for this. So they
Yeah,
gave
okay.
them-
That's
That's
not
pretty
that
good.
much.
That's a pretty big chunk. No, 3% of your
Yeah, yeah.
cities. I mean, so anyway, so they included educational exhibits, scientific, agricultural exhibits, art exhibits, great inventions, discovery, health, uses of electricity up to 1904 when this was being held, machinery, manufacturing, new household methods and tools, and women. And they had an exhibition on women's progress since the World's Fair at Chicago, which took place in 1893.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. with
Wait, what was that
H.
last one?
Women's progress since the
Women's
Chicago's
progress.
World Fair of 1893.
We've got
Can-
this
Is
new
anybody
treatment
else
for
hearing
hysteria.
some-
Yes, Imp.
It's Imp. Is it Imp? Is Imp watching TV again?
No.
No, I'm hearing echo.
No, yeah,
not
yeah.
something in the
I'm
background.
hearing echo.
Yeah.
I put it in the private chat, so I want to interrupt everything. So
But nobody did anything about it, so now I'm just putting it out in the public.
And we found the culprit.
hang on, we're right back. Keep going, or talk about. Can somebody talk about the
Yeah,
women's
Matt.
progress? I'm interested in that part.
Don't worry, Matt. We'll do your show. Go.
Yeah,
As we remove the woman from the show, talk about women's progress.
I
well,
mean,
that
I
is
claim
progress,
victory.
right?
It's progress,
Progress
in the
right
correct-
into the back.
Mad progressed her right out of the show. So that was fun. Now, photographers came from all over to cover the exhibition. One of those photographers was Jessie Tarbox Beals from Buffalo. She was the
Say
nation's
that
first
name again.
Jessie Tarbox Beals.
Tarbox.
Tarbox middle name.
Tarbox. Yep.
How does one
Tarbox.
go about getting that as their name?
She got some terrible nicknames in high school.
Well,
I'll bet.
if we remember, the naming convention in the old days was that your last name would sometimes be a profession. So, if she was married, her maiden name was Jessie Tarbox, and so Mr. Beals decided to make an honest woman of her.
And her Tarbox.
Jesse, I'm gonna take you out of this tar box.
Hey, there's the prodigal Shredda.
Did you take Shredda out of the tar box?
Okay, I'm back now. Sorry, I had to go
So
take care of something.
We had
Unrelated
moved
to
on
anything?
and started to tell the tale of Jessie Tarbox Beals, the first female news photographer, and we were getting into how one gets the name Tarbox.
Wait.
Starbox?
What year was-
Tarbox. So this would have been 1904.
So wait, hold on. So women, unbeknownst to us, for the last century, because Danny Trejo just a few years ago told us that women can do stuff now. That women were doing stuff in 1893 and had made progress by 1904, and we have the first.
What was the progress made? What is it? An empty room when you go in there?
I don't know, but apparently the first woman photographer was 110 years before the Harvey Weinstein incidents. So there you go.
Maybe
How are those
that's
two
why they
things
put her
related?
Maybe that's why they put her in the tar box in the first place. Was because she was
Hold
trying
on.
to do a man's
I
work.
I want to circle back and say, how is her being a female news photographer related to Harvey Weinstein?
Because in 2017, all of a sudden, women could do stuff, and they became the first of things. And remember when what was that? The awards for
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence was the first to do anything that only happened a couple years ago. Right. We were wrong. That's all I'm trying to say. Thanks, Brahma, for helping me tie something with sanity to whatever I was ranting about.
Punk, you need to get like a notepad or something and write these things out, make them a little more coherent before you try to deliver them.
It's gonna be the meme from Always Sunny where Punk's got the red thread going. So
if you can't land these jokes, I'm putting you back in the Pokeball.
Damn it!
See, look at that. Even the military's coming after you now.
I'm trying to go for the dodgeball color commentator.
We'll see how that works out for you.
Cotton, thanks.
Oh, wow. You found that offensive?
I'm a puppet. I'm part of the Cotton Council. I mean, it works.
Yeah, no, we get it.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't offensive. It just was clever. You know what? The red thread has circled back around. Now, please go back to saying something.
All right. So
I just had a great idea.
Like,
we have to
please
pause,
just continue the story.
Because I thought to myself, Punk, Shredda, Imp, they're all fighting for the bottom right now. We could make this like a game show, and whoever's at the bottom at the end just gets kicked out.
Sorry, you've been relegated.
Try again in a few weeks.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
All right, so
you may proceed.
All right, so Jessie Tarbox Beals had come from Buffalo, where she was a renowned news photographer. When she left, Buffalo newspapers reported they had lost one of their best professional women. But when it came time,
but it's a professional woman. I mean,
it's Tarbox, yes.
Was she like the only one?
I can't imagine there was a lot of competition for newspaper photography in the 1890s to early 1900s.
I thought, according to history, women weren't allowed to leave the house until like 1980.
No, that checks. Of the house?
I guess maybe she took them from her window. Was she next to the Olympics?
No, because when she arrived, she applied for an official press pass, and she was denied because fair officials didn't think she would be able to haul the camera equipment all over the grounds.
So they had reasons.
Valid
it's like when you see those job applications and they're like, must be able to lift 20 pounds to be able to apply. They're like, I'm sorry, Jesse, but we just don't think you can handle that. So she decided to contact local newspapers, hoping to get hired as a staff photographer, but they all turned her down. So she went back to fair officials with more ammo in the form of her portfolio of past work and just proceeded to continue until she wore them down and they allowed her to cover the event.
Wow, I've never heard a woman doing that before.
Yeah, that's
please,
that's definitely it.
Please, can we revisit that? I'd like to talk about that again. Are you sure? Really?
Why can't we have baby goats?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
Fine, do whatever you want.
Only if they're therapy goats.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that what Matt Walsh got?
No, he didn't.
Therapy goats?
Yeah, I saw that post you made on X.
Yeah, that's a true thing that I'm having to deal with right now.
What the hell? You know, goats are evil, right?
Not baby goats.
But they don't stay babies.
They do if they're miniature goats.
No, they're just no longer babies.
It's like Shredda's gonna get. What do we got? I got therapy calves. What happens when they get older? I don't know. We just have a lot of veal in the house.
His name's Herman.
Mutton. We have mutton. It's in.
That was a good City Slickers reference.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. Hello.
All right, so this
I-
woman
I
is
don't
trying to invade other people, like
and
men's
she
joy.
did. She invaded the space, and the day after she was
Good.
hired
Good.
or given her
Good.
permit, a St. Louis newspaper put a headline out that said, "Woman gets permit to take pictures at the fair."
Oh my
And then,
It was
then
a
she
headline
walks around
story.
the whole fair and she's like, "You got to change that. You got to change that. This is not appropriate for this space. We don't do that here." And everybody else is like, "What the fuck? You just got here."
Imagine began that, like, talking to your buddies. You hear about this reporter? Looks like it made front page. What? And the man rushes home. Honey, don't read the paper. Get away from that. Because you don't want her to be inspired.
So she went on. She did go on to take, at least subjectively, according to some people, what they considered the best photos of the fair, photographing exhibits such as the world's largest organ, like for organ music.
Sounds like sexism to me.
The only reason it was possible because there was no HD.
And the world's largest. She also took photos of the world's largest cedar bucket.
Well, yeah, the world
Nice.
wasn't even in color back then. It was just in sepia tones.
Do you think that's why she was a better photographer as a woman? Because the equipment was restricted to like 380?
Yeah.
Well, she saw the whole world the same way the pictures that she was developing. So she had like the inside track to what the picture would look like after she snapped it.
True. I think.
So, in addition to the world's largest organ and world's largest cedar bucket, there were also new food items
Nice.
unveiled at the Louisiana Purchase Centennial Plus One exhibition, including
This is called corn.
cotton candy,
Oh,
peanut butter,
Mm.
Dr. Pepper,
Whoa.
and puffed wheat cereal, and of
The
course we gotta finish off with the strongest contender, waffle cones.
So
they have
and some of those we still have today.
So hold on. You're saying that in 1904, the introduction of Dr. Pepper and cotton candy happened?
And
It's too
waffle
much.
cones.
Yeah.
Because
Too much.
You
because
think it's a conspiracy?
no, these are two of Sugar Waddle's favorite food groups.
I mean, everybody. Yeah, you're a Texan. Like, of course, Dr. Pepper is number one.
Wait, who's Sugar Waddle?
My significant other.
Oh,
I mean, if you get
nice.
up into Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, like they deep fry everything up there, and everything is infused with sugar. They deep fry
Yes.
Snickers bars.
Have I ever told you about the time that I was the first person to taste a payday when I was in elementary school, like second grade, third grade?
Sure you were.
I won a contest and I got it. Now, years later, I found out that paydays had existed since like the 40s or some shit.
Had existed forever.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what actually happened. I know it was the same day.
Was it
as
like a new
peanut-
recipe?
No, it was the same day as the penis inspection during gym. That's all I remember.
Okay, man.
It's a nice little
That
bread.
explains so much.
What about the payday thing? I just got it like that.
No, not the
Too bad
payday.
paydays are like one of the worst chocolate bars.
It was not chocolate, so yeah, I would agree.
Wait, what are paydays? Paydays aren't candy bars?
No, yes, they are candy
but there's
bars.
no chocolate
Candy
involved.
bar is different than a chocolate bar.
No wonder I never eat them. They don't have any chocolate in them?
No.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I haven't changed my mind about paydays.
Apparently, you've never ate one.
I don't like
cotton
things that
candy.
don't have chocolate. If I'm gonna eat a candy bar, I want fucking chocolate.
Well, that would be a chocolate bar.
They're the
I
same.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of would be.
All chocolate bars are candy bars, but not all candy bars are chocolate bars.
This is correct.
Fucking A, Brahma. This is basic IQ shit.
Yeah. We had to explain it to you because you called payday a chocolate bar.
Because I didn't know what I
All-
just knew I didn't like paydays.
All wings are buffalo, but not all buffalo have wings.
No buffaloes have wings, or they wouldn't be extinct after being driven off cliffs.
Well, they're basic. But bisons are buffalo. I tried to look in the difference between buffalo and bisons. Boy, that
And
was confusing shit. People use terms for whatever back then.
The buffaloes have 47 out of 46 chromosomes.
We keep going. Did you know that was a filter? I guess learned that the other day.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Oh, is
did
that
you
where I
guys
heard it?
answer my question? Can you deep
What,
fry?
what was your
cotton candy?
question?
Can you deep fry?
Can you
cotton
deep
candy?
fry what?
I'm
Cotton
not
candy?
sure if you batter it right or put
You
it.
can deep
I-
fry anything.
I feel
I
like
think
your
it would
cotton candy would
dissolve.
just melt and dissolve. Yeah.
No,
Well, it's-
you put it in a batter. You make a ball of cotton candy. You
Yeah.
batter it up real good. You put it in
Okay.
the freezer till it gets nice and firm. Then you
Alright.
deep fry it.
Well, it's
Right.
like deep
But
fried
But to
butter.
batter it, you would have
You
to
done
get it
this?
wet, which would
It
dissolve
would
it.
dissolve it.
You use
Right.
a thick batter, and you ball it up real tight.
Well, it's
You
like
still
deep
have to have
fried
a binding
butter.
agent.
It's gonna be kind of melty on the inside, but you still have
Y'all done this?
something.
Just have
Yeah,
the
but
cotton candy in there. You'll be fine.
It might be like a cheesy puff at this point, where you break it open and like the cotton candy fumes just kind of crack and seep out like aromatherapy.
It's basically going to be an inverted snowball.
What?
What?
Huh?
All right.
Snapple.
I'm looking it up, and people have deep fried cotton candy.
Yeah, suck it, Brahma.
That's why I
Why are we
stayed
so
neutral there.
violently against
Well,
me?
look, if you're a Texan like me and you've been to any state fair, county fair, or
Yeah.
local Joe Buck with a deep fryer, like, yep, we'll do anything.
Yeah, by the way, that's why I stayed neutral, because I was like, I have no idea. Like, I would never put it past the capabilities of Americans to deep fry things.
Should it be done? That's a matter of ethics.
Well, you can say that about
ideas,
anything.
But can it be
candy.
done and will it be done? That's a matter for science, right?
Did they, you know what? They were so busy on trying to figure out if they could.
No.
They never stopped to think
to ask if they
if
should.
they should.
You know, if they didn't
Wow.
do that with the
Alright.
80s and electronic music and cocaine, then we're not going to do that now.
Oh, those are good.
I wonder
Wait,
if anybody's
wait,
deep fried
hold on.
cocaine.
What you said? Those are
It's
good.
called crack.
All
Wait,
of them
cocaine
are
and
good.
disco?
Yeah, sure.
Where are we at with the cedar bucket?
We're, so we're moving on from
Derailed
that.
so hard.
So, you know what
Can't
else
ask
was
me back?
also
It's fault.
featured at the at the Louisiana Purchase Centennial +1 exhibition was the beautiful Jim Key, a famous performing horse. His owner said that he could read and write and do arithmetic for any numbers below 30, and was
Nice.
also able to cite Bible passages where a horse is mentioned. What
That's really
unfortunately beautiful Jim Key could not
Wait.
tear phone books using the power of Christ.
Let's
Oh,
I think people need a minute to process this literate
The
horse.
phone- Oh, I thought you were going to say the phone book thing.
So Mr. Ed was at the 1904 Olympics.
Just
sorry.
to clarify, Matt, he was not fully literate. He was only capable of quoting and citing Bible passages
Bullshit.
citing.
Maybe those are the only ones that he wanted to,
where a horse is mentioned.
because he
Amen.
was he was able to relate to those characters in the Bibles, right? Like, would you
Yeah.
read a book about horses?
And honestly, he felt that the Bible lacked representation and there
Yeah.
should have been more horses in there.
Yeah, he's probably pretty pissed when he found out that Jesus rode into town on a donkey instead of a horse.
Well,
That
no,
was their
he's
time to
probably-
shine.
He's probably
I
pissed
feel
off
like
at
this
camel
horse-
references, too.
I feel like this horse has a bigger ego than I want to be ridden. No, he's like, what? Why, how would I relate to this Jesus guy? I don't have a beard. I'm a horse.
Well, when somebody told him about like that time that a donkey talked in the Bible, he was just probably like, "Nah, screw this. I ain't gonna learn no more."
That is true. Yeah.
Trying to
If God can
upstage
talk
me.
through an ass, he can talk through a horse, I say.
Well,
Yep.
that's a different Bible lesson,
Yep.
right?
Right.
Depends if you're Catholic or not.
So other
Ooh, want to stay away from Priest Town with all that horse talk in the Bible.
Previously on MadPap.
And we're hung like a what? Jury. Okay, move on.
So there were at the exhibition they had set up what they called villages, where they
Nice.
had Central Africans, Syrians, Turks, American Indians like Apache, basically set up their own little villages displaying their native ways of life. They even had the Native American warrior Geronimo on display.
That's big time.
It's like Institute of Texas and Culture.
Yeah,
Had
but,
he died
yeah.
yet, or did they just like put him in a little crate to be like,
No,
"Hey,
he
look
was-
at Geronimo"?
That is a good point. Yeah, was he alive?
I think he was alive. I'd have to look it up to confirm.
Oh, so
they-
he was interactive.
They had. Oh, dude, was he in the dunk tank where people like trying to hit the target?
Yeah. Look, mom.
and then when he falls in the water, he goes, "Geronimo!"
You stupid savage, I got you.
So Geronimo didn't pass away till 1909.
He would have.
so
Yeah, he would have
still been
for
alive.
that.
Go back to
Um,
broken knee.
From
bended,
what I
whatever
know
it
of
was.
his life, he was probably very much an alcoholic at this point in his life, though.
Oh.
Well, yeah, you said Native American, didn't you?
Well, thanks, man.
Part of their
That's good.
culture.
Yeah.
Oh.
But now one of the most popular
Nay.
villages was the Philippine village, where visitors could gaze upon actual Filipinos living in their native habitat in St. Louis.
I believe it's Filipinians, but go on.
Did they do haka dances?
No, those are the New Zealanders, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, those
The Maori.
those are Maori.
The Maori.
Didn't they cover
Um,
like the whole of the Philippine
Povich?
Islands for a while?
I don't know, but but the tribe that they brought were from Igorot,
Hmm.
where they were known as for eating dogs. So people would be walking around watching the Filipinos butchering and eating dogs
Mm.
as part of their.
They're eating
Bill.
the dogs.
Hey, Bill, where's,
Yes.
where's
Familiar.
If you do not learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Hey, Bill, where'd you get that meat on a stick? It looks good. Got it over there from the Filipinian boys. No, Bill, no.
Why is my dog looking at me in terror right now?
You know,
So at the 1904 Louisiana Purchase Exhibition +1, hot dogs were not what you.
Also known as LPC1.
Joey Chestnut would not have competed in that event.
Do you think that they had? Do you think they had like caution signs or warning signs up, like if you're blind, don't walk your dog by the Filipinian? But they wouldn't be able to read it, so it would be in Braille.
No, this was
I mean, the-
1904. People didn't have therapy dogs with them that they went to events
if
with.
they
This
did,
was
They
Well, pets on a
Therapy dog?
leash.
to avoid it.
like it's like you're blind. You don't get to leave your house.
They were allowed to leave. Hold on, it's not that long ago. The blind were able to leave.
Did you
They
watch?
want-
Well, to
Not
beg.
until no, it wasn't until the miracle worker girl fixed all that blind people were allowed to do stuff.
We're back on Helen Keller.
Wawa?
What was that blind girl that jumped with horses? Was that the movie?
What? That they jumped with horses?
Yeah,
Where
she
they used to do high diving with horses.
into
What?
like into the biggest in a
Dunk
really big
tanks.
bucket of water. But
Sounds
then
like a
she was like
horrible idea.
blind, but she still did it. I saw this when I was a kid. It's
Wait.
a real
Yeah,
thing.
the horses weren't very fond of it.
yeah,
Jumping into giant
Yeah.
cedar buckets filled with water?
yeah.
High diving
High
Yeah.
dive.
into
did it a lot,
cedar buckets full of water.
I think it was in Atlantic City. They did a lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah, this was an actual thing that they did a lot of.
Oh boy,
I
Jim
remember
Key
seeing-
better be careful.
Yeah, I remember seeing a movie about it as a small little waddler.
No, I remember the movie. I don't remember the name of it.
You know, I have a very eclectic taste. Thank you, Sherry.
Eclectic
I
is
know.
one word for it.
But she
The
doesn't
only-
start off blind, does she? I thought she
No,
got
it's-
blinded because she kept her eyes open one
Yeah,
time
it was-
during the jump, and like
We
it,
all know how that dangerous water is to the eye.
The
Well,
only
belly
movie,
float?
it belly flopped her retinas.
the only movie about
Yeah.
fancy diving to watch as a child was Back to School. That's what I'm.
Well, hold on. Fancy diving is an entirely different Olympic event. We will get to it.
Okay, I can't wait. I just wanted. I had a culmination of like so many things we've said in a real life thing that also existed. I tried to pull it together better than last time, but Brahma still gave me what to say. Thank you for that.
You still ain't picked up that notepad, have you?
Nope.
The movie was Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken. It's
Oh,
a Disney movie from 1991.
I thought it was
see?
an alter ego. Sorry, I'm reading the private chat.
It's so long ago.
All right, so
It's just feminine side, not an actual female.
Hey, she's real. Some people have met her.
How dare you? To be a woman, all you have to do is want to say you're a
To
woman.
say you're a woman. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so with all of these villages set up,
Oh, right.
they were at the exhibition. They were doing this because they were referring to highlight how these savages, quote unquote, lived in their homelands, to highlight, and this was the goal of the fair, to show how amazingly advanced the people of America were in contrast to the people across
I don't
the
see
world.
anything
So-
wrong with that.
So
So
they
that's
invited
how
them all
people
to
living
set up
near there weren't
villages to live like they would back at home.
Yes.
So they
Yes.
basically set up a human zoo
Yeah,
No,
and they were-
no,
yes,
without
no.
they
telling
did.
the people that they're in the zoo.
They were
And it-
paid.
Yeah, so they were paid, but they were again
And dogs?
in addition,
That's
the
pretty good.
Filipinos.
Usually
In
you have to
addition,
pay your own table to be
I was going to say,
vendors
I'm
in
sure
there.
all the
Yeah,
people
see
in
there?
the surrounding areas weren't complaining about the rat and cat population declining sharply.
It was only dogs.
so as Imp, who highlights what they were going for
Who
with
would
this,
complain about the rat population? You know what I'm seeing a lot, honey? Those rats.
so,
Time to pay the piper.
now, like I said, in addition to highlighting how advanced America was, the fair's other goal was to highlight specifically how much more advanced white people in general were compared to
okay.
the non-white world.
All right, the
Ooh.
first part I
Ooh.
was on board for because I do think that it's good to recognize that we're better than the rest of the world.
And this
Yeah.
is
I don't
not
see anything-
speculative.
Whoa, Matt! White people, really?
I said no.
Americans.
I said America. Americans.
This
That's not
isn't,
Here,
and this
cultural
isn't
melting.
speculative, by the way, because this was all part of the explicit marketing done by the fair's Department of Exploitation.
Wait, they
Thanks,
had
brother.
a department of exploitation.
They
Yeah.
certainly did.
The honesty of this.
Were they pro or anti-exploitation?
So,
No,
This was
the
a
title
governmental
was it was
organization?
describing what they
Bro.
did.
Yeah.
This department
Oh,
exploits.
Then again, it was also 1904, so yeah, they're
yeah, so James Sullivan, who we know is running the Olympic Games,
Mhm.
was made the head of the fair's Department of Physical Culture.
How
His
did
department-
he do it?
His department was tasked to show how great the American style of athleticism was, which was not a problem for Sullivan because he was known to say that white Anglo-Americans were superior in brains and brawn, and he was
Oh,
going
man.
to use the fair and Olympics to
I-
prove it.
Were there any young Austrians that visited this fair?
Wait, no. Really, was Rockefeller there because he was
Hey,
big
Eric.
on that stuff too. I feel like we were. There's a bait and switch. I feel like there's a more going on here than meets
Wait, we're
the
allowed
eye.
to take drugs, right? At this one?
Wait. Yes.
Was that in general a question, Shredda? Like,
Yeah,
Are you
like-
asking about this stream?
Right, like,
or-
hey,
No,
you guys
no,
are cool
no,
if I do
like-
drugs
This
right now,
Olympics.
right?
I'm talking about the Olympics.
I like
Like,
it.
we should
Shredda's
have
like,
drugs
"Dad,
there.
I'm
morphine
gonna just
and heroin
freebase
were in their
that one.
over-the-counter
That's over here for
meds.
Dude, ever since Brahma and Slender started talking about deep frying cocaine, I want to try it.
It's
It
like,
seems so interesting.
I mean,
"Dad,
wait.
I need you to get your streaming setup out of the kitchen. I got to do some cooking."
So wait.
Yeah, right.
If you do deep fry your cocaine, do it in beef tallow. It's healthy.
Hold on a second. The
Wait,
yeah
what?
right that came out of Mad's mouth right there. When I made
Yeah.
the joke about
No,
Shredda
because
cooking.
Shredda would never make drugs. That's what I was saying. It wasn't anything specifically about cooking or nothing like that.
Never taken a class in my life.
There's a reason he's set up in the kitchen.
I
It
have a
doesn't get
question.
used.
Yeah, it was a available space.
I have a
Yes.
very important question right now. If you
Okay.
deep fry your drugs,
Yeah.
can you be half baked?
Wow.
No.
Put him down at the bottom. Put him at the bottom.
I can't believe everyone stopped talking. How do I?
I earned this one. Yes.
This is like the opposite of Hollywood Square, like where everyone's like, "Make me the center square. I'll be the most popular." It's like, don't drop me all the way to the bottom.
No, guys, no, because the way you guys are trying to do it is like, well, go ahead, man, go ahead, and I like it when you punch me in the face. I'm happy. I hope you keep,
Who the fuck are you talking to?
I don't condone violence. I just condone
No.
bad jokes.
Like people like, oh, I love the haters. The haters, they fuel me. Oh, keep hating,
No,
guys.
you're just talking
But
about
really, they're
punch
dying
people in the
inside.
face. I'm the only one that's like within reach of you.
Yeah, you are.
Bring it on.
No,
She
it's
says this
okay.
when I'm in
Matt
the
is
other
in the
room.
super sacred, super secure location, the kitchen. She doesn't go in there.
Yeah. And she
Did I ever
says
tell
it
you?
because she knows that you, like a good woman of the house, will stay in the kitchen where you belong.
Did I ever tell you about how the oven had the? She asked why the
No.
oven light was on. What? What?
Ugh,
What do you mean no?
No.
No, if Shredda says no, now I want to hear it.
She goes like, "Where's that light?" I was like, "Oh, it's the oven light." I'm like, "It probably didn't recognize you, and got scared, and wanted to turn the light so it could see you better because it didn't recognize you."
It's the security light. If someone it doesn't know walks by, it turns on to try and scare them away.
You're saying that Shredda's the boogeyman to the oven because he doesn't know.
No, just a stranger. Not that they're dangerous. And I'm not saying that the oven was scared of violence or anything. It just didn't.
The oven starts beeping, stranger danger.
Starts beeping out SOS in Morse code.
Oh,
Ma'am,
already
please
all
step
set.
away from the oven. You are too close to the oven.
by the way, is it a gas oven or electric?
No, electric.
I love that your misogyny.
It's
stayed on the
electric, and
other
there's
channel.
still
No,
there's still
Hold on.
there's
She
still-
was saying something. Let her say it. Better be good.
I said I thought your misogyny stayed on the other channel.
Why you gotta be bringing up shit like that?
Hey, dude.
Ooh, these are
Just
your
saying.
words. Now you
Just
have to hear
saying.
them.
I think she did listen to some of the previous episodes.
And to remember, it's mad misogyny. That's
No, Punk, I think if she'd listened to previous episodes, she never would have agreed to be on the show tonight.
It's probably
Also
true.
true.
Women are just as capable of cooking as men.
in many ways they are.
Man.
I mean, they are if they put the work in.
Did you not see Sweeney Todd?
Damn.
No, I saw it in Jersey Girl.
Buy me a meat grinder.
Wait, what?
I saw it in Jersey Girl.
Yeah.
So back to now that we have now established that James Sullivan was 100% on board with the fair's Department of Exploitation.
Right. Yes.
He and
Physical
as
culture.
so he decided he should go to the fair's Department of Anthropology and suggest they
Obviously.
combine their efforts. He wanted to call it
Does
the,
an athletic fair have a department of anthropology?
It's not just an
because it's
athletic
not just
fair.
athletic
Just
fair,
the
it's a world's
Olympics.
fair. It's
Let
got
him cook.
scientific exhibits, all the lot.
Yeah, you
Let 'em
remember the
cook,
Women
Slender.
Progress?
Do you remember how they set up the villages of the natives so you could watch them?
Yeah, I thought that was just a dunk on other countries, though. That made a little more sense.
Well, that too.
Well,
How have we gotten an hour and 12 minutes into this, and you just realized that the World's Fair is going on also?
no, it is
No,
the
I remember the
Louisiana
World's
Purchase
Fair, but I
Centennial
thought we-
plus one.
Yeah,
LBC
Chad.
one.
The World Fair.
There's so many fucking things going on during these Olympics.
These Olympic Games.
Oh, I mean, they only have 7 months. They got to fit all this in.
Again, yeah, it's not a World's Fair. It is a Louisiana Purchase Centennial plus one. So Sullivan goes, and wants to combine with the Department of Anthropology. His amazing idea is to call their combined efforts the Special Olympics.
Nice.
And his
So
idea was
everything started in
specifically-
1904.
Yeah. His idea was to have the quote unquote savages try to do the same athletic
No.
feats as very trained, skilled white
Oh
athletes.
no.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm
wait,
listening.
wait.
No,
So-
what's better is the head of the Department of Anthropology agreed because he loved the idea that it would give him data and help make a name for himself in
Yeah.
the new field of anthropology. He was
Oh.
like, this is my ticket. This
So the
is-
Special Olympics wasn't originally disabled people. It was people that this guy viewed as disabled.
Yes. And they would be competing against trained athletes in events they haven't trained in.
Wow.
The original Tough Man competition.
Amateur league all around. See, this makes more sense. He just wanted to promote amateur sports.
Well, no, that's over. We're in the Olympics now.
yeah. So,
but I'm saying if you take the savages and you're promoting them because they're amateurs, they're not.
Savages.
See how it relates.
You don't think they've been training this whole time?
Oh, maybe they have.
I don't know what kind of setup they have in Philippine Village.
they are definitely not doing any dog
Oh,
race.
this is where they got
Yeah.
villages from?
I think they're mostly having barbecues and drinking beer.
With the dogs.
Yep.
Think
we
of it
know
like Rocky IV in one of those huts. You know, the Soviet one where Drago trained with all the
Where you
robots and
where you
shit.
tenderize the dog corpse by punching it over and over and over.
Oh.
No, it
yeah.
was Rocky who trained like a savage, and Drago had all the.
That's what I was
technology.
saying.
Had all
Yeah,
the
so I'm saying
They
in the
come
hut.
out to pump up their team. They're like, "Where are my dogs at?" And then nothing answers.
Nowhere. There's none left.
Yeah.
No,
Like the
no, the
dogs
Filipino villagers come over, and so we've got meat on the stick for sale.
Yeah, and then Ray Lewis comes up. Any dogs in the house? No, we're out.
No, the Filipino village is like the part in Demolition Man. They got visitors just coming up.
Oh,
and
yeah.
buying a It's like, you want a burger? Here you go. Do you see any dogs around here?
I did a similar joke with the meat on the stick, but we can keep going.
It's all right.
Oh, let's talk about similar jokes. Let's talk about it, Matt.
Whoa,
I mean-
what's up with this attitude?
Similar
talk about it.
story. That's what happened to us when we pulled into Marmaris.
I didn't mean to respond.
We the first day we were there were a lot of dogs running around, and by the third day, before we were about to leave port, we were looking around and we're like, where'd all the dogs go? And what was that mystery meat we've been eating?
That's don't ask questions because you survived.
Yep. I mean,
So
it tasted really good.
So the trouble that Sullivan ran into was the so-called savages in the exhibits were actually paid showmen.
Yeah.
And they had
Oh.
agents and show producers
Showmen
who
or shaman?
represented them. Showmen. men.
Greatest
Shaman.
shaman?
Just checking.
You have to negotiate the contract with a shaman.
That could have been a great movie. The Greatest Shaman.
Ooh,
The ancestors say you're not getting more than 10%.
it's so hard to negotiate because he doesn't speak. He has a vow of silence. What do we do?
Fire, water, burn.
No one told me I had to read the bones. What the hell?
And I'm
He
not
keeps
talking
handing me
about the
mushrooms.
podcast.
I don't want to eat.
So most of them had didn't want anything to do with Sullivan's Special Olympics idea.
Why?
Yeah.
Many thought the idea of the Olympics that he was running was ridiculous. Others were just interested in getting paid. It's like
Oh yeah.
like the Ainu
Get that
of
money.
Japan who climbed trees in their exhibition. Sullivan
Nice.
wanted them to climb trees in the Olympic tree climbing competition. That
Tree
is a real
competition.
event at the Olympics that they had.
Olympic
watch it.
tree time.
Olympic
We got
tree
rid of that,
climbing.
but we have breakdancing in
I
Poland.
would watch
That would be
Olympic tree climbing.
I
Yeah.
feel like the breakdancing was a nod to the Special Olympics.
So just bear in mind, by the way, in this Olympics that they were running, there was Olympic tree climbing, but some events were a no-go, like water polo, immediately canceled.
Aw.
Not doing that, but tree climbing.
Man.
Why
We're
not?
in for.
Why was water
Because
polo
he-
canceled?
He was like, water polo? Gay.
Yeah.
There
Does that
was no
start from
Michael
the? Is that inside of the cedar bucket where they have to dive off with their horse?
Or
we combining these two?
in all likelihood, they had to cancel water polo because some of those tribes ate the horses.
Well, maybe the semi-literate horse. You said no water
How
polo.
dare you?
Not the
Right.
same horse. Come on.
No, he's
Come on.
way up the fucking the payroll. Are you
The
kidding
horse.
me?
Horse payroll.
Yeah.
He gets to stay right next to the chicken that plays tic-tac-toe.
He
Wait,
was
what?
consulting with
Well-
the shaman during the negotiations.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
least
that's
the
why
horse on the payroll knew that paydays existed.
Well, Jim Key, that's why he got all red Skittles, or you know what I mean?
Oh.
The fuck?
Because he didn't trust them. Like they would listen to all of the, like follow all of the rules in the contract. So
Why red? They all taste almost.
it was to see if
Whatever.
if
It
they
was
were.
a test to see
Yeah.
if they were reading through the contract. If they didn't do that, then he knew they didn't actually read through
What was the band that did that?
Yeah, there's been a few that have. Some.
Well, I mean-
Van Halen, I think.
Was
And
it?
they
It was
did
the
the
same
joke
one.
in they did the joke in Wayne's World too.
Oh no, it was a
about,
real band that did it.
Stones.
I feel
Yeah,
like
it could have been them. Whoever it is also the
70s
band
and
that they shit
40s.
themselves for like a week or two to see if a girl would still go down on them.
What?
Sounds like the
Yeah.
Stones as well.
What the fuck?
or maybe they just didn't change their pants. I can't remember. We can
Okay,
move
for
on.
the first time ever, I want to get back to the story. Can we
Yeah,
talk about
yeah,
the
sorry.
Olympics again?
All right. So, as an aside from as we leave Sullivan to start building up his Special Olympic events on June 5th, because remember this was taking place over months, there was a scheduled.
We're halfway there.
When did
There
we
was a.
start?
They had
If it's
scheduled.
June, we haven't even gotten to the opening ceremony
Yeah.
because that was 4 months in. That would be
Yeah.
July.
Yay.
So they had scheduled a bullfight to take place in an arena. The arena had been built specifically for the bullfight by promoter Richard Norris. He called it the Norris Amusement Company Arena. It seated 16,000.
But then the tribes ate the bull.
Norris signed 36 bullfighters to contracts, but he forgot that bullfighting was illegal in the United States and Missouri.
He forgot. Oh, guys, I guess remembered something. Shit, this is so embarrassing. This
What?
one's on me. This one's on me.
What?
I totally forgot it's illegal.
The cops have never been too forgiving about that. Like when you're like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to drive after
Oh.
I've had 6 beers." Sorry, officer, I forgot.
Oh, do you think that's when Count Dante? This is Jimmy. He's gonna take care of your bull problem. Remember, Count Dante had the kid who was gonna punch a bull to death.
Yeah.
Who's Count Dante?
Count
Do
Dante
you
will
not
teach
watch
you
any
how
of our
to
shows, Shredda?
Kill a
Seriously?
bull with your bare hands. Just punch it right in the face and it'll die.
He's the guy that had a lion.
Oh,
She
Yeah.
said,
I do
"Oh,
know that
like she
story.
knew."
Yes,
No, I
He
do
went
know that
after
story.
the what was it? The Green Dragon.
the
Black
Green
Cobra
Dragon
Hall?
Society. Yeah, the Black Cobra Hall of Dragon Society Incorporated. I can't remember the whole thing.
Yep.
All right, where are we at? Okay, so the bull. Yeah, there's bull fighting
So-
is illegal.
Yes, and there was extensive pressure being put on by religious organization and animal rights groups to not allow this, even though it was already illegal. So the governor specifically ordered that anyone involved in bullfighting would be arrested.
Huh?
But
What, me,
no-
a bullfighter? No.
But Norris had already sold 8,000 tickets for $1 each. So he decided that the event should go on as planned.
Really?
So-
Really? You're not a bullfighter. You're dressed like a Mexican musketeer.
So first they started with
All
a
for
horse show,
one essay.
which I don't know what kind of horse show it was. I'll just assume it was a regular one.
Wait, what?
They weren't in Tijuana.
Yeah,
Horse
no, Jim
diving.
Key is not going to participate in this bullshit.
That's why they weren't at the water polo.
Yeah. So the event started with a horse show, and
Uh-huh.
then they did a lacrosse demonstration because
Lacrosse, baby.
Wouldn't
Well,
they
Check us
call
out. We have nets on our
Troy?
sticks.
Since it was
so. But after the lacrosse demonstration, the crowd started getting irritated and booing because this
Why?
wasn't what they paid for. So that's
Yeah.
when the
This
the
shit's
announce
boring.
yeah.
What, lacrosse?
So,
All right.
Yeah.
Bring the horse back out.
The one that can read.
Yeah, I want the horse
I
to
want-
read more of the Bible.
and
Unfortunately, he's on an equity 5. Jim
You're
Key will
only
not be joining
halfway
us.
through Genesis, damn it.
So at this point, the announcer at the event let everyone know that bullfighter Don Emmanuel Cabrera would be coming on stage to onto the arena to perform. But a deputy immediately stepped out and told the announcer there would be no bullfighting.
What the
The-
fuck?
So the cops took Norris and other organizers into an arena office to discuss the situation.
There's like 16,000 people here, right?
8,000.
No,
I
that,
mean,
oh,
they
That's
okay.
a lot, Officer Buzzkill.
Yeah,
They
so
probably should have just used a
Bulls.
loophole and had the guys fight each other instead of a bull.
Quick,
We
quick,
want
Bobby,
Battle
Bobby,
Royale.
Body,
So
send
the-
the lacrosse guys back out there. Just have them stall for about another 5 minutes.
yeah.
you
So
know,
as the-
Well,
you could
the
just
bull
strap
can
them,
run around.
just strap some horns on one guy and have the other guy wave a red flag. It'll be a
That'll
thing.
calm down
Yes,
the riot.
because killing a bull is against the law, but killing all the other matadors, no, that's no problem.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Cultural differences, Brahma. We need to respect them.
Yeah, why
So-
we're better than the savages? Didn't you?
Yeah. So the spectators, as this was going on, all started demanding refunds, but instead of refunds, they were just told to leave. So they just, so the
Oh,
spectators
you want a refund? Bye.
started.
Yeah.
So they started throwing the rocks through windows of the
Hey,
arena
what the fuck?
office.
We taught you a new sport. Lacrosse. Why are you so mad?
Mexicators.
The police who were on the scene tried to stop the growing riot, but there were too many rock throwers and not enough policemen. Someone from the arena audience tried to storm the office, but the cops held them back at gunpoint. So instead, the mob turned their attention to the arena and released 3 of the bulls that were on scene.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Now
But-
no.
Now you do need a bullfighter.
I
No,
thought
but
we
Ben,
didn't have
bring-
it in Philadelphia.
bring the Olympians from Spain. They'll know what to do.
But the crowd, after releasing them, saw that the bulls were so emaciated that they didn't even move around or do anything. That's when the crowd realized that the whole thing was a scam. So
Yeah.
they set the hay in the bullpen on fire. But what they forgot was the entire grandstand was recently built out of pine, and also used tar paper. So it went
Now, Chad, real quick, are those
Starbucks. Yeah.
are these things? I'm assuming they shipped them in from Buffalo, and are they flammable? Are they known for?
The bulls?
No, the tar paper and tar pine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dried pine and tar paper would be extremely flammable. So much so that the arena burned completely to the ground. Almost.
Dude, pine resin is basically propane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 2
Are
days
pine
later.
cones the accessories?
Yeah.
Yep. So
Put yourself in shot.
2 days later,
That's what I was thinking.
Cervera, the bullfighter, and another bullfighter named Carlton Bass got into a fight over the lack of pay, and Bass killed Cervera. So, like you said, they pretty much just had
Yeah.
the
Just have the
bullfighters
matadors
fighting
go
each
at it.
other.
Yeah.
I mean, they
So-
might not have burned down the stadium, man.
I mean, it sounds like a fiery but mostly peaceful protest to me.
Man, the Olympics were more fun back then, dude. You had
Was the
lacrosse
summer
expositions and
Fires.
You were really
riots.
hung
But
up
did
on the
they-
lacrosse thing.
But
Did
now
they
we got
barbecue the bulls? Did they make it out? Like, I want to know that part of the story.
I think they took them home as pets, right?
The
No.
bulls were emaciated. They're probably
Yeah, they probably died. They were
had.
too emaciated to move, so they probably just burnt.
Wasted.
I like some of the people in the booths of the savages ran over there.
It's already
mean-
cooked. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, you smell that?
All
Yes,
right.
it is burning bull.
Pine
So,
smoked bull.
So in this time, they also started holding their first 2 gymnastic events,
Nice.
where young George Iser took part. He was a product of a German-based gymnastics club that moved to the United States
him.
in the late 1800s.
Uh-oh.
Now, what was special about George was that he had one normal leg and the other one was amputated below the knee, so he had a wooden prosthetic.
He had a peg leg.
He had a below the knee wooden prosthetic foot leg.
Did George participate in the Special Olympics?
No, he participated in the regular gymnastics.
As
Yeah,
a
the special-
as a gymnast.
Yeah, because the Special Olympics are for the savages to get owned by real athletes.
Yeah. So the first gymnastic event that they held, called the International Turners Championship in July, George competed, but he didn't do so well. He came in 10th in the all around and
Oh, no.
71st in the second all around. So, and he
How many
finished.
people are competing in this? Because anybody that
And-
shows up.
And I'm not
Well,
sure.
there's the high school students.
Oh,
a
that's
few
right.
people from the AAU, and then a couple other countries.
Can
I
I
was
just
going to
point
say,
out
it
that
sounds like the answer to your question, Matt, is yes. Just anybody who showed up.
we also point out though that in the first all around, where there was probably at least as many as people competing as the
Yeah.
second, he finished 10th out of what was probably at least 71 competitors.
That's
in
the one where his
gymnastics
legs. That's the
with
one where his leg didn't go flying out into the crowd, killing somebody.
Imagine having to
he-
go to your home country and explain to them that you lost to a man with a wooden peg, with a peg leg.
I was going to say, I would imagine if his leg flew out into the crowd, the judges probably gave him extra points for that.
I mean, what if he just took it off and then did really well on like
What,
the
threw it at the back of somebody's head?
pommel horse and the
Shredda,
What
how do you
ring?
stick
One-handed juggled it while doing his.
how do you
his
stick the
gymnastics.
landing with one leg? You can't.
Just
You
sharpen
can't
it?
stick the landing.
Okay, so not
you
no
can,
rings.
Chad. You stick the landing with one leg by landing on your hands.
Why would you want to try to stick the landing with one leg instead of having a peg? Because, I mean, think about it. If they're using grass,
That's what I meant by sharpening
I mean,
it.
it's just gonna go straight into the ground, and
Yeah, like a spike.
You're a human fucking lawn dart.
you're planted. Yeah,
Yep.
Would
Fuck
you not want to
Carrie
see
Strug.
that?
Fuck you. All right. No.
What you do is you have a false foot that when enough pressure applies, it can break and then really stick the landing like the lawn dart. You know, like the secret weapon.
Yeah, like they did in A Nice Tale with the lance.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
All
Oh,
right.
he tipped it.
Now we're moving into August, where the beginning of the Special Olympic Days, or as they were rebranded, Anthropology Days,
Nice.
were held. They took place over August 12th and 13th. And Sullivan, because he was a man of his word, invited scientists from all over the world to witness the event.
Oh no!
Because again, he also was a firm believer in the science behind this. So a local newspaper described it at the time as the unique spectacle of men deliberately throwing stones at one another will be one of the features at the athletics meet to be held at the stadium Thursday and Friday, in which all of the savage tribes now at the World's Fair will compete.
Hold
Isn't
up.
that how the Scottish trained to fight the English?
Wait,
Yes,
didn't we
should have
say?
remembered the rocks.
Didn't we say a couple months ago there was the whole arena burnt down because people threw rocks at the cops and then caught on
That was
fire?
just
But they-
one of the. That was just a bullfighting arena.
Yeah, that was just a bullfighting arena.
But they
remember,
wanted to
Punk-
emulate
no,
that as a sport now.
No, that wasn't savages. That was men
That
denied
was white people,
refunds.
Yeah.
That was
That was-
the civilized man.
Yeah, that was
Oh, right.
civilized rioting.
Okay.
Yeah, our rock throwing has purpose, unlike these guys who are just playing around.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to color these things, am I? Right? I'm supposed to keep at the pretense.
I just love the fact that every time Mad talks, he sounds like he's in an arena.
Yeah, he's getting some hallway effect.
How is that
I
even
think
possible?
I just want to confirm something, Chad. When we first talked about the savages and the villages, it was like, yes, there were some like American Indians. There was everybody from all over the world there, the Philippines. But weren't they just calling them savages? Everybody who wasn't white? Wasn't that what was said at the beginning of the story?
All
That's what
the
I thought.
people who were being exhibited who were not white were savages, according to the the Louisiana Purchase Expedition,
Right.
Expedition +1.
Okay.
That
Just
was how they
confirming
marketed it.
that's what was said.
No, that's how they marketed it. Yep. So that was exactly how they were describing these people. So the newspapers, I guess, picked up on it.
Meanwhile, those people are sitting around eating lunch, and they're like, "Why are all those white people looking at us?"
Yeah. So the first day of events included the shot put, the high jump, the long jump, the mile, and throwing a baseball. But they didn't
What?
take any time to
the
teach the
frick?
participants what to do. They were given instructions immediately before the event without an interpreter. They weren't allowed to practice, so they had no idea. So, as an example, they had no idea what to do during the high jump, so they basically didn't even have an event. The 100-yard dash was a total chaos, just trying to getting them lined up. When the starting gun went off, most had no idea what it was. Some just froze. Others didn't even realize it was a race, just slowly ambled down the track. The ones who did run didn't know what to do when they got to the finish line. Most of them would just stop at the tape instead of running through it.
Well, there's a
the-
barrier.
Did they beat the Americans to the tape?
Well, no,
There were no Americans, right?
No, this was just them running the events against
Oh,
each
okay.
other.
This wasn't when we were going to prove that the Americans were better by having.
no,
them
it is. Did you not see how horrible they were at it?
Now, a majority of participants did realize after the events what was going on and asked to have, a second try
No,
with
no,
the
no.
understanding of what to do.
So,
But they were denied
It would mess with the
Because-
data.
because it violated the research design and
What data?
invalidated
This isn't in a controlled fucking
It-
scientific
Yes, it
process.
is.
it invalidated
was.
the racial comparison data that they were collecting.
Yeah.
Because remember, this was the Department of Anthropology to compare the savages to white athletes.
They can't
Oh, boy.
even compete against the amateur athletes that we have here.
So I just want to say this was in 1904 that they basically set them up to look like idiots, and it was only 50 years later, in 1958, that the Disney nature film White Wilderness pushed lemmings off a cliff to show that they would, even though that was staged as well. So we apparently don't learn things throughout history.
A little different, but yeah.
To be fair, they weren't set up. You can say they were set up to fail, but they were also set up to win. They just had to go through the ribbon, but they're
I mean,
savages.
instead of cooking the dogs, they could have gone and watched the high school championship that took place just a month before, and they would have known what the events were.
Oh,
So,
So
So
that's
it-
their fault.
so as we're talking about the data they were collecting, all the participants were listed in the officials' reports based on what country they were from and with their names. So a Congolese pygmy who had sharpened teeth was described in the report only as cannibal. The event went great according to the press, with headlines saying "Great fun for the savages."
Oh,
That was from the LA Times.
I see
now,
that publication hasn't changed in 100 years or so.
yeah, so day 2 included events such as tree climbing, archery, fighting, and a Mohawk versus Seneca lacrosse match.
wait, Mohawks? Okay, good.
Indian tribes, yep.
now that they've
Had-
seen the exposition,
Exhibition over at the
yeah. Now they
arena.
know how to play it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a Native American sport, so hopefully,
Was it though?
Like Jayalai or whatever.
I feel as though it was perfected once the settlers came.
once really affluent suburban mid-Atlantic kids got into it, and
Yep.
that's how they got college scholarships.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
right. Yeah, boy.
Or got a Duke lacrosse team, that kind of thing.
That did nothing wrong.
And so they in addition to the lacrosse match, they also had a mud throwing event because that was important.
Just I know you guys are like, what are these events? Tree climbing, rock throwing, mud throwing, but you have to remember there's 7 months that you have to feel. Like you have to fill those 7 months with Olympic sports. Because whatever you got.
Well, that's a good point, Matt, because Sullivan also decided to add a javelin contest because they determined that it would be exactly like a spear, and
Yeah.
every savage would automatically know how to throw a spear.
Where's the lie?
They got the idea from the peg leg getting stuck in the ground.
True.
James, I just came up with something. Let's give these guys spears. Yeah,
You remember
that
that
sounds safe.
gymnast from last week?
I
No.
just keep having the song "Bougie Savage" in my head.
Now you might think that the anthropology day is being put together so late by the Department of Exploitation,
Oh, that's right. They're coming up with this shit the day of.
who didn't
These
have
are
time to
cool words,
properly
right?
promote it.
I'm not making
With-
this up, right?
No,
Yeah.
no. This is
Anthropology days. Okay, by that.
this is a real
Yeah.
thing.
Was so they because they were put together so late by the Department of Exploitation, they didn't have time to adequately promote it, so not many spectators were there to watch. In
But the
addition,
scientists were there though.
the scientists were. In addition, each winner of these quote unquote special Olympic contests didn't receive a medal like the regular Olympians. Instead, they were awarded an American flag.
Love it.
Now, the person who did view the event as a success was James Sullivan. He said it proved that enlightened Americans were the best athletes in the world and that the natives were completely inferior. In his mind, he had proved savages couldn't play proper games or participate in events like the white man. So Sullivan was quoted as saying,
No,
"The
you don't
whole
eat off the discus, dummy. You throw it." This guy.
So Sullivan would say, and I quote, the whole meeting proves that the savage has been a very much overrated man from the athletic point of view. Quote unquote. He believed he had debunked the mythical existence of the noble savage. In his final report, he wrote, lecturers and authors will in the future please omit all reference to the natural athletic ability of savages.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
Mic drop. Or the 1904 equivalent to what a mic would be. Feather drop.
Now, it is worth written. It is worth noting that the founder of the modern Olympic Games, de Coubertin,
slender.
He had to go get more beer.
Didn't, again, he didn't attend these games and was furious when he found out about the anthropology days. He believed as outrageous and an affront to the ideals of the Olympics. Now, we have now reached the traditional period of the Olympic Games from August 29th to September 3rd. But only 12 countries ended up showing up to compete.
That's like
Fucking
4
scared.
days.
They're
out
all
of the
scared.
7 months. It was like 4 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, they were. Remember, they were doing events like Matt said. They were filling time before.
Yeah.
Right, but you said the traditional Olympics went from August 29th to September 4th.
Yes, these are the non-made up days events.
Yeah, because they didn't have that many events to deal with, so it wasn't a big deal.
You're good. You're good. We're going into traditional Olympics now. Nothing. What possibly could go wrong here?
They were pre-gaming for 7 months.
No, it was a part of the Olympics. It was just new events that people haven't seen before. Now they get the experience.
Right.
Yeah, so we had 12 countries show up. So
The rest were scared.
We had a total of 630 participating athletes in these Olympic Games. 523 were Americans.
I like our odds.
Over 50% of events were between Americans only.
I like our odds.
Including the tug of war. That was an Olympic event.
That was one of the biggest Olympic events for a long time.
Yeah, so out of almost 100 sports, archery was the only event in which women were allowed to compete.
So there was progress. I guess that room was filled with the archers, the female archers.
Yeah,
that's where they were.
So 6 women competed in the event. 5 of the women were from Ohio. One of those women won the gold medal. There was also a female exhibition sport, boxing.
The one woman who wasn't from Ohio volunteered as tribute to be there.
So wait, they were allowed to only compete in 2 events: archery and boxing.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Female boxing was an exhibition event. Yep.
Huh? Is it because they thought if women ran, they would have ugly babies? Or like if they would work out? That was a real thing.
Maybe sports bras hadn't been invented yet.
I don't
They
know
definitely
how you guys
hadn't
even
been
noticed
invented.
I was gone. I told Imp to cover for me.
Yeah, he did say that in the private chat.
I saw the whole
I got to go get more beers. Imp, cover for me.
I just, after your comment in the chat, I figured you were never
Yeah, that's how I caught
next
on.
week.
Yeah, but no, for real though. At this time, doctors would tell women that don't work out, you'll have an ugly baby.
Mm.
Well, maybe they just looked at the woman and made it up on the spot.
Maybe they said working out isn't going to help.
So one of the international competitors, Johann Rung of Germany, was the favorite in the 800 meters. But when he competed, he got tired in the latter part of the race and didn't win because the day before he had accidentally lined up and run in the wrong race, the 440 meters.
Is there no is there no method of tracking who's supposed to be where?
Apparently not.
Like, you
In
should have a
100
list of
years-
people, participants for this event. They're just like, hey, that guy's not on this list.
They're
Remember,
all
they
lining
weren't
up on
working
the
with
track. I guess I'm supposed to run.
they weren't working with an Olympic charter.
So swimming events were held in open waters like rivers and lakes, not pools. The men's
Nice.
50-yard freestyle race was held in a man-made lake. Zoltan Halmaj of Hungary was the premier swimmer of the time and the favorite. He won the race, clearly defeating American J. Scott Leary by a foot, but a U.S. judge declared that the American had won.
Hell yeah.
And so this led to a massive brawl between the Hungarian and American swimming teams.
If
The
only
fight-
we had a female photographer there to take a photo finish.
So the fight was broken up, and the teams decided that those two would race again. And this time, Halmaj won again, but was declared the winner. There was also an event called fancy diving.
It's my favorite part.
It was
Have you guys ever heard of fancy diving?
No, but I want to.
it was
So-
extremely popular in Germany and Sweden at the time.
Monocles were required. You had to know which fork to use for your salad.
I imagine it's a lot like the difference between ketchup and fancy ketchup.
You
Yeah,
leave
so-
burger out of this.
So in this sport, one would try to do elaborate gymnastics moves and feats in the air before hitting the water. An
So
American
diving.
Yep, it's diving, but
It's
fancy.
It's fancy.
Fancy diving. I think fancy diving is what we just consider diving now.
that I had my top hat on
Yeah.
the entire way down?
So an American was awarded the bronze medal in the event, but the German team protested. They
I
claimed the
definitely
German
was more fancy than him. So
Yeah.
fancy was I.
that was actually the official protest. The Germans claimed their
Oh.
dives had been fancier.
God. That's what it was.
I'm so fancy.
Now, the Americans argued they had better entries into the water. The Germans had made more difficult fancy dives, but belly flopped into the water on their stomachs, while the
See, that doesn't feel
Americans
fancy.
performed less difficult but more graceful dives where they went, entry into the water with their hands.
Sounds like
you're impressed by the
Delegated
belly
and
flops.
understated.
Yep. So
Sounds
it
like
was
you're saying
suggested,
Americans are the best.
It was suggested that the two participants, the German and the American, should have a dive off for third place.
When-
But German
when did we stop
Alfred
doing that?
It's a dive off.
It's a dive off.
I'm diving here.
All he really had to do was turn left off the board.
Stay out of the Zane.
Listen to the judge, Billy Zane. You're not going to win this one. The problem was the fourth place finisher, German Alfred Braunschweiger, refused to participate.
Damn you,
His last name
Braunschweiger.
was Von Schwager? Like that's fancy.
Braunschweiger.
Schwager. That's fancy.
Even in my
Schweiger.
last name is fancier than these guys.
Why is the German?
That sounded
so
like a
much
gay Irishman.
That Irish accent is
Look,
hard
man.
to take off after you tried so hard.
Let
last
me,
Oh.
let me-
Look at that one over there. That Braunschweiger is certainly very Irish. He's a Finian through and
it's a
through.
family name.
Kind of a fancy lad, ain't he?
Look at
I
those
can't wait
fancy
till
knives.
The next Summer Olympics, we've got to live stream and live stream the synchronized fancy diving competition.
Look at
I'll be
those
honest, I don't
two
know why they
bastards
got-
fancy diving.
I don't know why they got rid of the dive offs and you know what I mean? Like, oh, you think you won? Let's go again. Like, well, I guess cameras and replay and
Dude, well, here's an example. Like, figure skating, right? You know that in the
I've heard
old
of it.
days, they had to actually do figure eights as a requirement. They had to just sit there and keep making eights on the ice, and they were judged for how perfect they were. That's why
That's-
they called it figure skating.
Very
And Tanya
dumb.
Harding couldn't even do that.
that is very dumb.
And that was like they were still doing it up until the 50s, and then the 60s they were like, "Fuck it, let them jump."
So when they have a dive off, is it like Speedos and top hats?
Yeah, with monocles,
I'm
No.
back on the figure skating now.
Yeah.
I'm picturing some figure skater doing the eights, right? And then he just stops and he goes, God damn it, Captain! I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
Let me fly. With he
I
has
learned
a top
it.
hat on.
Of course, I know how to figure skate. I learned it to own the fancy kid down the street.
So, it is. I mean, does that mean when you do figure skating, it's more deep and meaningful if you skate to crisscross? Will make you jump.
I think everything is more meaningful.
We're seeing a new trick here today. He's attempting to skate the figure eight, turning to the right. He's going to be going right the whole time, tracing the figure of the eight.
All he had to do was
Never
go
seen
left.
before.
So, all right. So now we go into boxing.
He's done it.
Where a fighter named Carol Burton entered as a lightweight.
Ever heard of him?
And won his first match. Burton was very popular in the area, but soon after the match concluded, it was discovered that the man competing as Burton wasn't Burton at all. He was actually James Bollinger, who had assumed Burton's identity. He did this because he knew Burton was popular and wanted to gain favor with the judges.
So popular that nobody noticed it wasn't him.
So Bollinger was disqualified. His next opponent, Peter Sturholt, got a bye to the semis because he was disqualified. Where in
they
the
don't
semis,
know who's in half of these races, but when one guy uses a fake name, they're like, nope, even though you won, disqualified.
Well, this is where it gets better because Peter Sturholt, who was given, re-entered and moved forward on the bye, was beaten by a man named Jack Egan in his next match, and Egan ended up winning the silver medal. And Peter Sturholt got nothing for finishing fourth. A year later, they found out that Egan's name was not actually Jack Egan. He was Frank Floyd, another imposter. And Egan, or in this Floyd, was stripped of the medal, and a guy named Van Horn moved up to silver, and Pete Sturholt now won the bronze, even though he never won a match.
This is the most fucking ridiculous Olympics ever.
Hold on, now you don't remember the historic time in boxing of identity theft? Like this happened everywhere. You never knew who you really were fighting.
So now we come to the headline event of the Olympics, the marathon.
Nice.
Now, some of the people competing in the event were legitimate marathoners who had previously succeeded in marathons, but most of the participants were just middle distance runners taking a shot or weirdos.
Or weirdos. Who did the weirdos represent?
Well, we'll get to them. The favorites for the event were Americans Sam Mellor, A.L. Newton, John Lorden, Michael Spring, and Thomas Hicks. These were all experienced marathon runners. There was also Fred Lors, who trained at night because he was a bricklayer during the day. He had landed a place in the marathon by winning a 5-mile race, which is much shorter than a marathon. In addition to these contenders, the event also included 10 Greeks who had never run a marathon, an ex-mailman from Cuba named Felix Carvajal. He had raised money to come to the U.S. by running the length of Cuba, but when he got to New Orleans, he gambled on dice and lost all of his money and had to hitchhike to St. Louis.
Man, dude, it happens. You throw those bones, hey, can you give me the ride to the Olympics? No, I'm supposed to be here. I'm a runner.
So the event also included 2 men from the Swana tribe of South Africa who were there at the St. Louis Exposition as part of the Boer War exhibit.
Yep.
And a whole pack of dogs trying to escape the Filipino village.
So the Boer War had only recently ended in 1902, and when it was over, the British had burned all the crops in the area. So the Boer War exhibition.
I just noticed a comment in the chat. They had to make a perfect figure 8 and follow the exact same line. Tougher than you think. No, I imagine it's extremely difficult. Also boring as fuck.
I disagree. I don't feel like it would be that difficult because it would start to be like carved into the ice.
They would Zamboni it between people.
Oh. They had Zambonis.
Yeah, they had. Those things have been around a long time.
I don't care how difficult it is. It sounds boring.
So the Boer War just ended only 2 years before the Louisiana Purchase exhibition +1, and these two were coming there, and they were being paid £4 a week to be part of the exhibit. The exhibition was actually created by a captain who had fought for the Rhodesians in the war. Men, women, and children signed up, and at the fair they recreated two famous battles of the war. They were doing reenactments of the Boer War
during the
6 months
marathon
after it ended.
No, this is what they were up there doing, and they were just like, "F it, let's do the marathon."
Yeah.
So the reenactments were 2 to 3 hours at a time, included several actual generals and 600 veteran soldiers from both sides of the war. So these two men had entered the marathon from the two men who had entered the marathon from South Africa had served as messengers in the Boer War, and they had also participated in the 1 mile event at the Anthropology Days. So they were Olympic vets over here.
Yeah.
So, like, pretty much everybody at these Olympics at some point was just like, man, this is boring. I'm going to go compete.
I'm jumping in.
Yeah, so the reason they were actually considered contenders to win medals because in the war they had run great distances frequently as part of their duties as messengers. The marathon was 24.85 miles, or approximately 40 kilometers. It was run Tuesday, August 30th, when the temperature was 32 degrees Celsius or 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was run on a dusty, unpaved road with the dust kicked up by the runners said to be inches thick.
Now, Soul's on to something with that comment. This really is kind of like the WWE. You just never know who's going to show up in the ring.
So on the route, they also included 7 hills, and in one area, cracked stone was all over the road, which made it dangerous to run or walk on.
And it's also St. Louis, so it's 100% humidity in August.
So as the runners lined up the starting line, the Cuban was wearing a white long sleeve shirt, long dark dress pants, a beret, and a pair of street shoes to run the marathon.
He was like, I thought I was here for fancy diving.
So a spectator actually seeing this grabbed a pair of scissors, ran over to him, and cut his pants off at the knees so he would be able to actually run. The 2 South Africans were competing barefoot. All right, so the starting pistol was fired at 3:30 p.m.
I think that's one of those moments where he was pausing, where we were supposed to say something that he was talking about at the beginning.
Well, yeah.
He's like,
Well,
all right.
What happened? What did I miss?
That the South Africans were competing barefoot on the marathon.
He probably competed with Kenyans at home, so I thought they were in good shape.
Well, you also tend to run a bit better when you're being shot at.
Motivation helps, yeah.
Aren't there some arguments that running barefoot is actually better for you?
Yeah, that's why they
Not
have
when
the
you're
barefoot feet shoes.
Yeah, the Vibrams, those are great shoes. But
they are. They're very nice.
I don't know if it would be better when you're running on like cracked stone roadways.
Yeah, it's one thing if it's a nice dusty trail. It's one thing if it's like at the track.
Wait,
you know.
Have you gotten
Depends
to
on
what
the
they're running
calluses
on?
you've built up. Yeah, we did.
I mean,
so it is dust. It's a dusty road, so it should be better
Except
for
for
the feet.
where there's jagged stone.
Yeah, I have barefoot jogged and such in the past, and it was, did wonders for my calluses and such.
Do they make shoes for penguins?
No, that's a fair question. Thanks for breaking the fourth wall, but yeah.
Wait, hold on. But didn't you break the
Break the
kayfabe?
fourth wall. I kept to the character.
Yeah, he brought you back in.
Yeah,
I
mean,
rebuilt the fourth wall.
Nah, I like to break the fourth wall. No, no, that's a great question. Although McDonald's did have Crocs, little plastic Crocs with their Happy Meal a while ago, and they're almost a perfect fit.
Let me answer your question with another question. Shut up.
I don't think I can get further down.
They really had Crocs with Happy Meals?
They're plastic, and they were only right foot, which
Aren't all? Wait, what?
they were like little miniature croc toy things with the Happy Meal.
It was. Ooh, I can't wait to get the new Croc shoe toy.
Yeah.
And
No, you're
what
a
is the
cultural
kid? How does the
phenomenon
kid?
when you're in a Happy Meal.
How does the kid play with it? I'm a Croc. Burp, burp, burp.
We know that toys are just made for adults now and collectors.
That's true, I guess. Don't take that Croc out of the plastic. That's a McDonald's original.
I'm gonna sell it on eBay.
All right. So the starting pistol was fired at 3:30 p.m. and dust immediately became a problem, mostly because of all the traffic.
That would cause dust.
Because where they were running the marathon, there was crosstown traffic, delivery trucks, trains, and also runners' coaches and their doctors would be driving alongside the runners on this roadway, which
Keep
kicked
going.
up tons of dust.
So it looks like the that scene in Fear and Loathing where they're doing the race. There's just dust everywhere. Nobody sees where the course is or where anybody else is on the course.
Yep. So runners had to stop frequently to cough. So Lors pulled ahead quickly, followed by Thomas Hicks, who came up and took the lead from him. But it didn't take long for the first runner to go down. William Garcia collapsed on the side of the road, where he was rushed to the hospital, and it was discovered that he was hemorrhaging. His lungs were hemorrhaging because from inhaling all this dust. The dust had coated his esophagus and ripped his stomach lining. If he had not gotten to the hospital within an hour, he would have died.
Yeah, this is why I never go outside.
Yeah, this is why I never run into traffic. I don't want to get my stomach ripped from dust.
So the next to go down was John Lorden. Also overcome by the dust, he started vomiting and decided he'd had enough of the race. He hadn't even gotten 10 miles.
I'm sorry. I've seen dust. I've been around dust before. I don't remember it be so dangerous and deadly.
Can we when we edit this, clip this like you do to promote the channel, just have, another one bites the dust or some MIDI file so we don't get copyright claimed on this?
He edits.
I literally I moved my mouse to move you to the bottom, but I was like, oh, he's there.
I know, like
all I can do is put you in the back now.
Oh,
you have been relegated.
So one of the South African runners, Len Tao, was actually chased off the course by a pack of wild dogs. Apparently, they were sick of the Filipinos killing them.
So I was right. There was a pack of dogs that joined the race.
You think his coach was like, no, run past Filipino in the village.
Use them as motivation.
So he was actually chased a full mile off the course by the dogs before they finally...
And he came in fourth place.
Before they gave up. Meanwhile, the Cuban ran along his street in his street shoes and dress shirt, and he kept stopping and chatting with spectators.
He's my favorite.
At one point, he stopped next to a car because he saw the passengers were eating peaches. He asked if he could have one, and they said no, so he grabbed them and ran off.
I could slurp on a peach for hours.
You have millions of peaches.
Peaches for me.
He had not actually eaten for 2 days before starting the race, and later on he came across an apple orchard and ate some apples. But they turned out to be rotten, which led to horrible stomach cramps, causing him to lie down, and he fell asleep.
He won bronze.
So he was the hare.
All right, so the leader at this point was Sam Mellor, but he started to have terrible cramps.
This is more like Mad Max Fury Road than it is a marathon. There's traffic. There's packs of wild dogs. People are shooting at them when they pass through their neighborhood.
This is
the
more
Running Man.
No.
It's the actual book version of the Running Man.
No, but it gets worse.
The stupid movie.
It gets worse. Trust me, because here we got Sam Miller, right? He was leading the marathon, but he started having terrible cramps, right? And that was because he wasn't allowed to drink anything. They were only allowed to get water at 2 stops, at 6 miles and 12 miles.
Oh, jeez.
This was because
So it's a halfway point.
Yeah, this was because James Sullivan had done this on purpose because he thought the marathon would be a good time to study the effects of purposeful dehydration.
Wait, hold on. Say it again. I was texting.
He was purposeful dehydration. He minimized the amounts of fluid people could take in.
This guy is sabotaging every event, right?
No. It's it's another opportunity to get some science in.
Yeah. Weird science, but not that kind.
So Miller started walking and then pretty much stopped altogether and sat down. He was done. Lors was also getting cramps around mile 9. He was in 4th place. He gave up and asked for a ride from a passing car.
Smart.
He hopped on board, waved to people along the route as his fellow runners as he rode past.
I mean, they allowed an amazing race.
So now Hicks was in the lead, but at the 10-mile mark, he needed help too. He had a couple of guys there to give him support. He was begging them for water, but they wouldn't give him any because they couldn't. What they could do under the rules that Sullivan had established was sponge the inside of his mouth with warm distilled water.
It's the Gatorade of the 1904. What, the distilled water?
Sponge me, Captain.
It's what plants crave.
So at the 17-mile mark, Hicks' crew gave him a cocktail. And you would be saying, okay, so what would be the cocktail that they'd be allowed to give it to him?
Yeah.
It was made of strychnine and egg whites.
The breakfast of champions.
So you guys are probably aware that strychnine is a rat poison, but it can also stimulate the nervous system, and in this case, they were using it as a stimulant in very small doses. There was no actual rules.
They do the same thing with racehorses.
Oh,
so yeah, but because that's okay because at this time there were no rules about drug use in the Olympics. So now we go back to Lors, right? Who was driving in that car, but the car he was in broke down.
It overheated
at the 20th mile, and but at this point his cramps had stopped, so he got out of the car and started running again.
Yeah, I think I feel better. I'm gonna hop back into this thing. I got a chance.
And I was running.
So he quickly got past Hicks, who was leading at the time.
You tired?
One of Lors' support crew told him to get off the course, but he passed on that advice and just kept running. And he was the first one into the stadium and crossed the finish line, and just a hair under 3 hours. And the crowd went wild.
Nice.
The daughter of President Teddy Roosevelt was actually in attendance and was about to put a wreath on his head.
She'd been there 8 months.
That's when angry Olympic officials realized what was going on. Now, Lors said he had never actually said he won the race and was acting like it was a joke the whole time.
Okay, all right. Well,
like, hey, I was just kidding, guys. I was just kidding.
Oh, you mean when I raised my hands, I said I did it, I won it, I got the gold? Joke, bro.
Me. You really love me.
Oh, let me guess, jokes aren't allowed anymore?
As the crowd started booing, Lors was like, no, I wasn't actually going to accept them. It was all just a joke. But that's when the Olympic officials made the determination he was disqualified from the race and wasn't counted as I don't know, taking the car for like half the race.
The other guy's doing not asinine,
strychnine.
Yeah, strychnine and eggs.
Yeah, so Hicks had been in the lead when Lors had passed him, but his crew told him to keep going because Lors was definitely going to be disqualified.
Because there's been so many rules followed up to this point. Definitely going to be disqualified.
But as we remember, Hicks was the one who got the strychnine and egg white mix.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
he was he was looking ashen and limping from the poisons that he had actually
Oh, so there's
Beca- and
there's some negative effects from this stuff?
that's because his crew didn't actually know how to mix it properly, and they didn't know what the right amount of strychnine to give was.
Put
How
4 parts
we
strychnine to 2 parts water, 1 part eggs.
So
it is if you don't I think the best proof of God is that we have survived to this point because as a species, we are so just whatever about everything. Like, let's try this. Let's lick this mushroom, see what happens. How much strychnine in egg white? Well,
This was an
whatever.
official
Play it by
sanctioned
ear.
event, right? This was bringing
Yes.
back the Olympics.
Yes.
so
This is a terrible precedent.
so Hicks
Where'd
was
you find that mushroom? In a pile of crap. We should definitely try it.
Yeah, so Hicks was continuing, but he had started hearing word that Lors had won because the crowds were saying that. So he started slowing down and just chugging along, but moving slower and slower. But then someone told him that Lors had officially been disqualified, so he started moving again, trying to push his legs to run. That's when his support team decided to give him more egg whites and strychnine.
No.
But this time they decided to mix in brandy. So
Good. It's
Why?
about time.
Yeah. I mean,
What's the
To
science behind
rehydrate
the-
you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Never mind.
Well, that's
You
like
answered it.
So-
brandy and egg whites halfway to the eggnog, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh boy.
so his team
Punk
So-
just climbed out of the bottom.
And yet he stays above imp.
So his team also had the brilliant
Yeah,
idea to just
Real
soak
quick, because I
him
don't
in
think
water.
M qualifies for that. There's a minimum amount of words that need to be said.
Imp had a good one earlier. I can't remember what
A
it
good
was,
word.
but he had a good one.
A good
He had a good
one.
word.
No, he got a zinger in there tonight.
So
It must
Like
have
it's-
been great since you can't remember what it was.
I
So
don't remember
apparently
half
he
of
can't
what's been
either.
said.
yeah, so in addition to the strychnine poison mixed with brandy this time, the team also had the brilliant idea to actually soak him in water, since they couldn't let him drink water per
Could
the
he drink
rules
the
from
water pouring
Sullivan.
off his face?
But soaking him, like throwing the water on him, seemed to do the trick. He started to look more alert and his pace quickened. A race official later wrote, over the last 2 miles of the road, Hicks was running mechanically like a well-oiled piece of machinery. His eyes were dull and lusterless. The ashen color of his face and skin had deepened, and his arms appeared as weights well tied down. He could scarcely lift his legs while his knees were stiff.
It
He-
sounds like a zombie just shuffling down the road at this point.
A nice
Well,
But that's a
sheen.
well-oiled machine.
I don't know what's wrong with him. We gave him fucking
We gave him
asinine.
poison.
What
We
is
gave
it?
him alcohol. Strychnine.
We gave him strychnine and egg whites.
It was at this point that he started hallucinating.
We gave him mushrooms. We mixed it all with brandy.
In his mind, he felt strongly that he still had another 20 miles to run and started begging his support crew for food. And then he said he wanted to lie down, but they wouldn't let him, knowing if he stopped, it was over.
Just kill me. Just let me die. I'm
know,
20 miles.
If you slow down, you're gonna die.
We made a
Talk
reference.
about running. I'm doing a podcast with Joe Rogan right now.
We made a reference to It's Always Sunny earlier in the show, and I'm just thinking of when they're going back to their high school reunion drunk and they're dancing and think they're
That's
doing
one of my
amazing.
favorite fucking episodes.
Hallucinating the whole night. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a good episode.
Sounds
They
like
did it-
he's. It's exactly
I
what he-
love that episode so much. And then they cut to it. He says, it's fucking great.
So
That is what this
his-
is, though.
yeah. So his support crew did offer him tea, but he passed on it.
Why?
They did give him more brandy, so he took that. There were still 2 small hills before the stadium. He walked up and then jogged down the other side, and by the
Smart.
time he got into the stadium, he could no longer run. He was just shuffling.
Every day I'm
as
shuffling.
if he was at a mall.
So his support crew picked him up and held him like a like a bench with their hands to the finish line. So his feet were dangling. It looked like he was running. So he was
did
declared the
not.
winner.
No, it did not look like he was running. It's weird. I saw him finish it. I don't know what those other two guys were doing next to him. Because they're for support.
His finish time for winning the marathon was 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 53 seconds.
How long was the how far did they have to run?
24 miles.
24 something miles, yeah.
So carry the one.
And he
That's
was
pretty
only
good.
30 minutes behind the guy that took the car.
Dang.
So that might sound like a pretty good time, but this still stands as the longest official finishing time in Olympic marathon history.
Let me ask you this: when did they take out the pack of dogs, the dust, the traffic,
Strychnine?
Strychnine? Because I feel
Brandy.
like, in context, this may be the best time anyone has ever ran.
All right. So he also, after the race was over, it was determined he had lost 8 pounds during the marathon. Not surprisingly, he never ran another marathon.
Because he couldn't.
And a doctor had said if he had taken one more dose of strychnine, he would surely have died.
I was gonna say he never
They dosed
ran
him
another
multiple
marathon
times?
because he died
Yes.
shortly after.
You were really low, Slender.
I don't know.
So of the 32 racers who had entered the marathon, 18 didn't finish.
Due to death or just gave up?
What pack of animals chased them off?
They
I
all
mean-
took too much strychnine.
Okay, so look, I'm sorry, but we talked about first month was the savages, and then we talked about how savages weren't as good. Now we're ending with the marathon. That this whole thing seems to be a very much encompassing quote scientific experiment in survival of the fittest, right?
Uh-huh.
It's the Kumite.
It just leads into other history that happens in a few more years.
Trump. I knew it. I knew this was a Trump allegory.
So the Cuban, so of the finishers, the Cuban Felix Carval, who took the nap and was competing in street shoes, managed to still finish fourth.
Wait, the Cuban did?
Yes,
He took a nap.
he did after eating some bad apples.
He was in his dress shoes. He was in like a what are they called?
Fancy city shoes.
Yeah.
But he got hydrated through the peaches and the apple.
The peaches he stole from people.
Well,
just
the
like-
apple didn't. I don't think he lost because he got food poisoning.
Yeah. The South African who was chased by the random pack of dogs managed to still finish ninth.
Get
Yeah,
out
That's
of
with an
here.
extra 2 miles because it was
Yeah.
a mile out and then he had to come back a mile.
a mile in,
so-
yeah. By
And
the
he
way,
actually beat his fellow countryman who finished 12th.
Jeez.
Who
What's
didn't
your
get chased
excuse?
by a pack
Oh
of
man, I just
animals.
got tired about the 12th mile. I was chased by a pack of dogs. Look, man, we all
So-
have our cross.
Now, regarding Lors, who was the
Wait,
one who
real-
took the...
Real quick, do you think the Cuban was like I did it clean though? Test me, USADA. I'm good. Cuba.
My name is Cuban Pete.
Well, I mean, depending on what kind of funky stuff those apples had.
Oh, good point.
Now, Lors, who was the guy who took the car shortcut and almost pretended he won the marathon, was facing the wrath of James Sullivan, who decided to give him a lifetime ban by the AAU for his.
You will
shenanigans.
now face the wrath of Sullivan.
Oh man, that
Yeah.
sucks. But just to let you know, I did graduate high school 7 years ago. I'm 32 years old.
Now,
Okay, that math doesn't add up either. But you get what I'm saying, though.
but here's the thing, though: the ban only lasted a few months because Lors was able to appeal and get the ban rescinded on the grounds that he was both temporarily insane at the time and a known prankster.
It was a
Sullivan forgives you for your transgressions.
Your Honor, my client is known as he's known as a prankster. You can ask anybody around. They're like, oh, Billy Bob, he's a prankster.
Now, and he went on to win the Boston Marathon the year after this.
Oh, did he get strychnine this time?
Well, he might have. It was legal. Now we turn back to George Iser, who's our favorite one-legged gymnast.
I'm glad you said that. I had no idea who. I was like, the boxer?
Because they had the second gymnastics competition on October 29th. And in one day, he managed to win 6 medals, 3 of which were gold.
Oh.
One of
Good
those
for
was
him.
for the vault, which at the time did not use a springboard.
Jesus. But so are we at the point to where all of the athletes have went back to their own country and these are just random people like, yeah, no, I'm Jacques Jatun from whatever.
No, this is the actual part where the other 12 countries are participating for that 5
Then
days.
how did a one-leg man win 7 medals, 3 of them gold, if it's not random people?
Because he'd been there for 6 months already and made friends with all the judges.
He'd been training.
Then he shot his girlfriend through the wall in the bathroom.
That's a good segue, because no one had attempted to compete in a official Olympics with an artificial leg again until 2008.
Oh,
Which
how'd it go?
Oscar Pistorius.
With
He
Oscar
was
Pistorius.
disqualified, wasn't he?
Should've been with
Pistorius?
robot
No,
legs.
he was
No, he-
allowed to compete
with a
he just-
springboard leg.
with his spring leg, and then he went on to famously kill his girlfriend.
What'd she do?
She was in the bathroom.
Came into his room and went into the bathroom in the middle of the night.
I thought there was like a big to do about those spring legs, and they pretty
Yes.
much did a study, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it gives them a totally unfair advantage."
It absolutely does.
Well,
They still
luckily,
didn't.
luckily
Okay.
for them, he was slow. So
Yeah, he
was a
didn't
slow-
win anything.
Yeah, he was a slow.
He was a big story of a loser.
Oh, but it should
The-
be
the
okay
most-
then because the guy didn't win. It's okay. We should ignore that these spring-legged amputees are entering our teenage girls running events.
South Africa won more medals with the he
They
castrated
took her germs.
than they did with Pistorius.
I guess that was too subtle what I was trying to do there.
No, I understood completely.
Oh, well, thanks for the response to it.
Well, Chad
chuckled.
started responding, and then Slender's in the
No, not to
background
me,
going,
Chad.
"Durr."
No, Chad was not responding to what I said.
Slender's just doing random South
There
Park.
seems to have been a fundamental breakdown in this stream at this point.
And
It's
Punk Waddle,
survival of the fittest.
I was about to say Punk Waddle is just staying silent so he can stay one step above him for the rest of the show.
And Shredda got her energy refill about 3.5 hours ago and is playing her mobile games.
I don't deserve to be here, Matt.
All
I'm
right.
not playing mobile games.
Better.
I downloaded
She
it to my
speaks.
computer. The Louisiana Purchase Expedition +1 was slash Olympics came to a close on December 1st, 1904, and was considered a huge success with over 19 million visitors coming to attend it.
Jesus.
2 years after these Olympics in 1906, the IOC reviewed the Germans' protest of the fancy diving medals and overturned
Why
the
does
results.
anyone care?
Fancy diving is life, man. So they overturned the results and declared third place a tie between the United States and Germany. To this day, the United States has not acknowledged the decision of the tie in fancy diving.
Nor will we ever. If they
What's
made a
the
movie
fact?
about it, that would be the ending title, like the ending title screen. Like, to this day, America has still not recognized their win.
Does the United States acknowledge the 1904 Olympics? Because I wouldn't.
I would if just the gold medals like that
Because
that
we won like all the medals. It was good,
Yeah.
almost as good as 1984 when the Soviet bloc boycotted. We just won everything.
We beat the savages and the Germans.
Wait, why does the American sound German?
I got so far.
Climbed.
How easily we fall.
I mean,
Waddle
let's be
flew
honest,
too
Punk.
close to the sun. And he...
Let's be honest, Punk. Shredda hasn't said a damn thing, and she's ahead of us. This whole thing's rigged. What did I tell you? Fucking rigged.
Damn
It's
straight.
bullshit.
Hey, Shredda, nice being your neighbor.
I'm not putting up with it anymore.
Well, bye.
All right, so was that the end of it?
No, well,
It's more.
speaking of rigged,
Now Sullivan was running the Winter Olympics.
no. So,
Oh God.
the next,
No, please, God, no.
the next major Olympics was held in London in 1908, where strychnine was once again allowed to be used. It also is worth noting that the U.S. flag bearer refused to dip the flag for King Edward VII because we don't do that shit.
Yeah,
was a
fuck
good
that shit.
choice.
So getting back to this use of strychnine in the marathon, a runner from Italy entered the final lap of the marathon in the stadium, but was such a mess he collapsed twice and started running the wrong way. Judges turned him around and pointed him in the right direction, and because of that, he was disqualified. So an American won.
Wait, you can get carried across the finish line, but if you get pointed in the right direction,
So
that's disqualifying material right there.
the judges pointed him in the right
Right.
directions, and then the judges.
And then they disqualified him.
But that guy who got carried across by like a whole group of people, that's
Wait.
fine.
Disqualified for what? Well, because we pointed you in the right direction.
Turned down for what?
Yeah, but you did that, yes, and it was wrong for us to do that. That's why you're being disqualified. You
See how much
shouldn't have.
integrity we have?
Yeah. You shouldn't have listened to us. No one stopped you from putting your fingers in your ears, going la 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 la, as we tried to tell you. That's on you, bro. I'm British.
So Sullivan continued to be a very influential person in the early Olympic movement, even though the IOC president
Why?
Pierre de
Who would
Coubertin
listen
hated
to him?
It's because even though he didn't have the IOC's respect, he could push his agenda because of his power in the United States.
And he had all that data.
Yeah. During the 1908 games, Sullivan got himself appointed to the secretary of the U.S. Olympic Committee, and in that capacity, he lodged endless protests at all events,
Oh my god!
averaging several per day.
How did Pierre Leclerc feel about that? Because I know he hates that guy.
Pierre de Coubertin,
Yep,
he
that's the
hated
one.
him. He did hate him.
Was he being funded by Soros?
Did anyone not hate him?
Apparently, the Amateur Athletic Union,
Yes.
The AAU.
the AAU.
Well, he started that, so
Yeah, so he started his own organization to not be
The
hated.
double AU.
Yep. So by the 1912 Olympics, female divers and swimmers were allowed to compete, and America had what was regarded as a top contender named Ida Schnell.
Wait, female
No.
divers or female fancy divers?
I think it was still fancy diving.
I don't think
Nice.
females are capable of being fancy.
But even though she was a top contender, Sullivan wouldn't allow her to compete because he didn't allow any American women to participate.
well, other than archery and boxing, of course.
Yeah,
Those were exhibitions.
exactly. Sullivan did passed away on September 16th, 1914 at Mount
Aw.
Sinai Hospital
And nothing of value was lost.
after an operation on his intestines. And yeah, as we said, nothing of value was lost.
No, but that's yes, because all the value that he gave the world, we still have to this day. Dr. Pepper, waffle cone, cotton candy.
Oh, you mean the
Butters?
things that were
Those were things
weren't-
that were coming out either
So
way. They
those
just
were
happened
go-
to be
yeah, they were
weird
exhibited.
there.
Those
They
are
were exhibited.
photographed by the woman. That's why they were important. Wait, I said that wrong, right?
Oh yeah, did she ever go back to Buffalo or?
Yeah. Where's the loose ends? I need tied up the loose ends, you know?
That's a good idea.
Where's
I should,
Jim Key?
My
Where's
research,
Tarbox?
my research committee is going to have to get on that.
Yeah. I need to know more about Tarbox.
I
We'll
want to know about
release the
Jim
full
Key.
report next week.
Mhm.
It starts with so the Savages.
All right.
Cool.
Let me. I'm going to look. I'm looking it up now for Jesse Tarbox Beals.
What? No, nobody. Really? That's who you choose?
Oh
to
my
look up?
god! Oh my god! No, I was right. Jesse Richmond Tarbox. Her maiden name was Tarbox, and she married Alfred Tennyson Beals.
So what?
Lord Tennyson?
Oh.
What profession is Tarbox?
I think it's after you've gotten caught being a prostitute.
She moved to Greenwich, New York, Greenwich Village. That's where she ended up.
Where she photographed the homeless.
I think. Well, was that a nice neighborhood back then in the like 1910s?
Where was it?
Yeah, Greenwich Village.
It's America, right? Yeah, that's good. All right. Well, that was good. That was a good story. Now you know about the 1904 Olympics. Next week, we're going to be trying something different. I'm going to be giving Chad 3 options that I do not know, and he will pick which one to go with.
It better
Oh,
have
the-
something to do with disco.
Disco.
I love disco.
I thought once Shredda joined, we were going to do the ghost story.
Yeah, but I know that this is all in the notes that I sent you guys that I would be. We can talk about this after.
I remember the notes. I referenced the notes if you didn't catch that.
You know it. I know, and I still haven't got a notepad. But I would say that if we do disco, maybe Funk Waddle might come around.
Never
Is
mind. I
that your
retract my
dude
vote.
love?
I got so high.
I don't like that the new version of the notes doesn't say anything about I don't have to be funny. I thought that was in the contract.
What's in the contract? Why would it have to be in the memo?
I didn't get any notes.
Is Matt's not the one? Are you the one messing, or is it Brahma?
Yes,
Matt?
I'm the judge.
Okay.
I didn't even say anything.
I know, but
By default, you can't be higher
Yeah.
than Mad in Mad's mind.
I lowered myself for one bad joke, and now I'm back up on top. So, all right, that'll do it for us. Y'all got anything you want to promote?
Bourbon and boarding Saturday, bullpen on Sunday.
Sending art on Friday,
Yep.
and probably some games on Thursday.
Punk Waddle, do you have anything you would like to promote?
I got stuff on my channel, positivity, and you know,
Nice. You heard this guy. You heard that, guys. He has stuff on the channel. Make sure you check it out.
Yeah, I try to be positive. I try to be pondering. I hang out with other puppets. You know.
Oh, you're a puppet again?
Yeah, and Soul Assassin, don't you be trash talking my sugar in the chat.
That's a compliment.
Hustling's a good.
Hustling's a good thing.
Oh,
Even
Well, then,
even if you
thank
do it
you.
every day.
Thanks, Soul Assassin.
Hustling's like getting after it. Where did
Yeah.
Matt go? He left his own show.
I accidentally hit the back button on my mouse.
Oh no! Shredda's been moved.
This is getting out.
Oh, okay.
What is
I
this
will
shit?
take
Brahma's moving
everyone's-
himself now.
Yeah, no, I'll take everyone's privileges away.
What?
You don't even
The
have any
fact that I keep
privileges.
getting moved
I
says
know,
it's
why
little
don't I
Chad
have
that's doing it.
No, it's me. I'm the judge.
Can I have privileges?
Wait,
Shredda, you're still probationary. Calm down. We'll talk about
if you're the
privileges
judge,
later.
are you going to disqualify everything that happens here then?
You're barely in the song.
Whoa! Who did you say that to?
Shredda.
Wow.
I
I'm at
had
the bottom.
I heard my name twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was the star of the video.
All right. Well,
I think the chick at the end was the star of the video. You were
Well,
there.
And-
I
but
tried to cover
until
her up
she
as much as
showed up,
possible.
I was the star of the video.
all right. Well, if we got nothing else, then that'll do it for us here. If we don't see you back here, we'll see you way up there. Say goodbye to my wife. I'll say hello to yours. Not being beamed up.
Been
Being
down.
Yeah.
Hey, cool. Points for effort. Nice.
Yep. Let's see. Not being savory.
You're being
Delicious.
salacious.
Salacious.
And if you're not grabbing noses,
You're grabbing buttholes.
What?
Yeah, I could never get on board with
Wait,
that one.
there was something else added. What was it?
Oh, it was it was I the tiger, Dick of the horse, take no prisoners, and
Stay the
show
course.
no remorse.
Yeah, there you go.
These are the instructions for intercourse.
All right, well, see everybody later. Bye, guys.
Later.
A Machiavelli production.
This is now Mr. Kansas Law Dog. Law don't go around here. Savvy? Yeah. Yeah, that's real good, Law Dog, because law just don't go around here.
They keep on calling me, want me to put it down. Oh, baby, run to me, don't go from smile to frown. Hey, law don't go around here. And I say, hey, law doggy, law don't go around here. You're no daisy at all. And I say, hey, law doggy, law don't go around here. You're no daisy at all.
I want you to know it's over.